All right, welcome back to another episode of On the Throne podcast, and shout out to Senjin Boychuk for that incredible intro song. As always, the guy's just ripping right along, and he's growing a lot on social media now too. Pretty interesting fella, and right in the wheelhouse of this week's guest, Bryan Andrews.
Hell yeah, man. Thanks for having me on.
How's it going, man?
It's going great, man. How are you guys?
Oh, dude, we're coming out of winter here in Canada, especially in Alberta. I work in the oil patch in Canada, and we're coming out of winter, so it's nice. We're in spring. It's been a hot spring. It's been an unusually warm spring. It's been 30 something degrees every now and then. Very little rain, which is weird for this time of year. We have what we call in the oil field spring breakup, and it's when everyone kind of breaks up for spring and lets all the frost thaw out of the ground, and it gets muddy, so it gets hard to get on location a lot. And we didn't really have that this year. It went from, it was also a mild winter, but it went from cold to warm just like that.
Yeah.
And it's creating a bit of a mess up in northern Alberta right now. So
how cold does it get up there?
Oh, I've worked in minus 56, minus 57. Yeah, yeah.
I think the coldest I ever worked was like negative 30 wind chill in Iowa.
But I think at minus 40 Fahrenheit and Celsius meet up.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I think, but then they take off again, right? So the minus 56, whatever. It got that cold this winter. But it didn't stay that cold.
Yeah.
It got that cold for a few days, and then it got warm again. And, when it's minus 56, minus 57, minus 40, feels good on the toes. So
yeah, man. I used to hate, that was like one of the worst parts about working on the road was being outside in the wintertime in the north. But like we're not near as far north as you guys are. I couldn't imagine that.
Whereabouts in the north? Where would you call north?
So for me, it's like Iowa, northern Iowa, and southern Minnesota. Really, it's about the furthest north I really worked for a long period of time in the wintertime. But the furthest north I ever worked was International Falls, Minnesota, and it was right on the border with Fort Frances, Ontario. So.
Okay, yeah, I'm from Ontario originally. I'm actually from close to Toronto.
Okay.
But I live out in Alberta, west in Calgary, Edmonton. I live in Calgary. I'm moving back to Edmonton though. And the furthest north I've ever worked is Fort Smith, Northwest Territories, which is way up there. Right. For us, I think it was like a 15 or 16 hour drive. Yeah.
That's like, I don't know. Just even thinking about that seems like otherworldly to me.
Oh, dude, you know what they say, right? I guess you wouldn't know what they say, but up here we have a saying, if you can survive in these conditions, these are some of the harshest conditions in the world. If you can survive up here, you can survive anywhere.
Yeah.
But I love the heat, but I don't think I can handle 120 in the shade in Texas.
Yeah, I'm telling you, dude. I think also another thing, which you guys probably have humidity and shit there, but like in the Midwest and even in Minnesota and stuff like that and down in Texas and stuff, it's just so humid, dude, that like you walk outside and even if it's only 90 degrees, you're instantly sweating.
Yeah.
So much moisture in the air.
Yeah. Well, here in Alberta, we're landlocked, right? Calgary, Edmonton, all that, Fort McMurray, we're landlocked, and it doesn't get that humid here. In the summer, or when it rains, it's cold. It's a cold rain. Whereas where I'm from originally in Toronto, it's humid as fuck in the summertime, and when it rains, it's a hot rain. It hurts when it touches the skin, right?
Yeah, I think like that's where like Missouri's kind of like right smack dab in the middle of the United States, So it seems like, which this winter, hell, it wasn't even that bad. I think we only had really 1 week where it was like -6 Fahrenheit. For like a week or something like that. And that was the coldest it got. And then we didn't even get that much snow. I bet all winter long, we probably only got 6 or 8 inches. So
my wife got 6 or 8 inches all night long yesterday.
That's what I'm saying, dude. It's like, and then in the summertime, dude, also it gets like 100, 110 sometimes.
Yeah, I don't even know what that is in Celsius, man. I couldn't even. I know. Okay, so I know 40 degrees. I think is 100. So
Uh-huh.
40 Celsius is 100 Fahrenheit. I'm
Okay.
pretty sure it goes like. I'm not sure though. Don't
Yeah,
quote me on that.
I got
I'm
no
not.
clue, bro.
I'm not an expert.
Yeah, that was
So
like it was so weird too, because like I remember working in that northern part of Minnesota, and it was in like the fall, and it was just starting to really get into fall and stuff like that. So it would be like 26 degrees at nighttime, and then it would get all the way up to like 70 degrees during the day, and I was like, oh my god, this is a huge jump in temperature. You know what I mean? You
yeah.
go to work wearing a coat, and then you want to like by lunchtime you're like sweating to death.
Oh yeah, that's like up here in the spring. You're going to work wearing a sweater. You
Yeah,
might put that sweater on 6 or 7 more times before the afternoon, before home
yeah.
time, right? And I made a video there a couple weeks back. I might have jumped the gun on it a little bit, but it did pretty well. Not as well as some of yours do, but
Yeah.
you've got also a lot bigger following. So um I made a video and it's like every Albertan today, right? And I switched the thermostat in the truck from heat to AC,
Oh
and it went. It is time.
yeah.
Remember,
Yeah.
right? And yeah, it did fairly well. I think I got like 100,000 views on it or
Yeah,
whatnot.
dude.
So yeah.
Man, that is how it is though. It's crazy because like here, it doesn't get like that. I mean, it'll get to like 40 or something at night, but if it's like 40 in the evening, it's only getting to like 60, 65 maybe during the day.
So you're from Missouri.
Hmm.
So how close to St. Louis?
I'm about 3 hours straight shot, basically. I mean, I got to drive a little bit to get to I-70, but so yeah, like 3 hours straight west of St. Louis, and then like an hour and a half almost straight east of Kansas City.
Yeah. So are you a St. Louis Blues fan?
No, no, I don't really watch hockey, man. To be honest with you, if I was gonna be a hockey fan, I would be a Blues fan. But I've never really got into it, which is so crazy to me because it's like when I think about sports and stuff, like I'm so obsessed with North American football and stuff like that, and I like it's so weird because in other parts of the world you don't realize that it's not that huge. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we don't even have an NFL team in
Right,
Canada. We they're talking about one in Toronto, which
right,
is whatever. They've got the only Major League Baseball team there,
yeah,
so
yeah,
in Canada, and I don't even know who would. I think you guys had the Rams, right? The St. Louis Rams,
yeah,
and they
yeah.
moved to Vegas, didn't they?
They moved to LA.
L.A.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So you don't
Yeah,
have one now.
not in St. Louis. No, we got Kansas City Chiefs though. They're in Missouri.
Oh, you're the
Yeah.
KZs. So are you a big what the hell's his name now? Mahomes fan?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Big time.
Big Mahomes.
It's crazy, dude. I remember when we drafted him, I was like just really starting to pay attention to like Cap and stuff like that, and like be a super fan or whatever. And I remember when we drafted him, I was a huge fan of Alex Smith. He was the quarterback we did have already. And we traded up to number 10 to get Patrick Mahomes. And I was like, dude, I never even heard of this guy. Like, what are we doing? We're blowing this whole draft. And now we're, you know, serving up a dynasty on a silver platter because of him. So I'll take it. Take it any day of the week.
I don't really pay attention to football, but I do know Mahomes is one of the highest paid, if not the highest paid
Uh,
player in the NFL.
Yeah, he was like when they did his deal, his new contract after his rookie contract, they signed him to a 10-year, $500 million, but 450 million guaranteed. And like
Yeah.
now, they're already talking about restructuring it because after all these new quarterback deals after this year, he's like the seventh highest paid or something like that. So
Wow.
yeah, it's because of a yearly thing. Like his contract is 10 years long. You know what I mean? And most of these other quarterbacks are getting 4 or 6 year deals. Stuff like that. So, but now for Patrick Mahomes, when they restructure, it'll be interesting to see like if he takes less money so we can keep some of these other guys. But which I think he will. I mean, he's already making $50 million a year. So
Yeah, and not to even mention his endorsement deals,
yeah,
right? The
yeah,
guy's a billionaire,
yeah. I was gonna
essentially.
say, and he's part owner in the Royals, and the Sporting KC soccer team we have.
Really?
Yeah,
I did not know that. Wow.
Yeah, he's like a minority owner in both of those. So I mean, he's getting money from, I mean, he's getting money, but it just one of them things where you hope he kind of takes less money so we can keep winning Super Bowls because I don't know. It's like it feels like we're the new Patriots, like they used to be. And,
Yeah.
and a lot of those like fans, I remember I just used to hate them so much because I hated Tom Brady and stuff like that. But like now that we're on this side of the fence, it's like, you guys weren't so bad after all.
Hey, in the world of hockey, my team is I'm a big Toronto Maple Leafs fan.
Mm-hmm.
And on paper, they are one of the best teams in the NHL on paper.
Right.
And up until this year, it'd been 20 years since they made it past the first round of the NHL playoffs.
Oh, really?
And it's been almost 60 years since they won a championship. But so they made it past the first round this year, and it was off a fluke goal, and I was super excited. I was pumped. Right now, they're playing the Florida Panthers, and they're down 3-0 in the second round. They're if they don't come back from this tomorrow night, I believe they could be eliminated. So,
yeah.
Right. So, and they have Austin Matthews drafted first overall. They have Mitch Marner. So their top four make just over, I think it's 46% of the cap.
Yeah. Yeah. See,
right?
It always cracks me up too. It's almost like with baseball, you see these huge blockbuster deals and stuff like that.
Yep.
And it seems like for football, they're just kind of a little bit lower. So that's why I always like to I'm not a huge baseball fan either, but I like to follow those contracts sometimes just because they get massive, dude.
I went to a Toronto Blue Jays game once, and that's 4 hours of my life I'll never get back.
Yeah. I don't know what it is. I didn't grow up playing baseball. Everybody that I'm friends with loves it and everything. So, but I just never grew up really, really playing or anything like that. I didn't play in high school or nothing, so I wasn't ever that interested in it. I guess, like, everybody was in Missouri was a bandwagon fan in 2014 and 2015 when we went to the World Series back-to-back years, and that was like the last time I remember actually watching baseball,
Oh, you were too busy making music.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, yeah. And in those days I was in college. So, everybody was watching baseball, every bar you went to, everybody's house, so it was cool though. I mean, it was like just seeing, because the Chiefs were still pretty shitty. So it was cool seeing us, kind of get to win something, in KC, because we hadn't had that winning culture around here for a long time. So
yeah. So speaking of the music, what when did you get into that? How did that start for you, man? Because honestly, like when I think I first saw you on TikTok, man, you might have had like 30 or 40,000 followers or something like that.
Yeah.
And you had me at, I think, Liquor and Pills is when what drew me in. Then I went down the rabbit hole.
Yeah. So right when I started putting out videos of Liquor and Pills, I had about 80K or somewhere around there. It was like kind of just starting out and stuff like that. And then the day I released Liquor and Pills, I had 100,000 or something like that. So like from the time I wrote that song, I was still pretty small, I guess, or kind of on TikTok. But I really started on YouTube because I put out like songs that I had written in college and stuff like that on just iPhone videos sitting in my hotel rooms at work, and that's really kind of where people started noticing me first, and then they'd start coming to the TikTok, and then the TikTok just like went crazy, but yeah, I think I didn't start playing guitar till I was 17. I was a senior in high school, and I took a guitar class, and my dad's the band teacher at the high school I went to high school at. So took that class, and I really still didn't know. To this day, I don't know much about guitar. I can just play chords and stuff like that, and I'm good enough to write my own songs, but that's about it. And then I started writing when I was about just turned 19, really, is when I really started. Towards the end of my 18th year, and 19 is when I really started writing songs. And then I was in college at the time, and ended up dropping out of school, went to welding school, and then started working on the road. And that's when I started writing decent-ish songs, And then just kind of took off right after that. I got TikTok my third year working on the road, and by my fourth year, I was able to quit and start doing music.
Good for you.
Yeah,
good for you, man. That's insane. No, that's huge. So you haven't even been recording for like or making music for 10 years yet? Because you said
Oh no.
17, right? You're only
Yeah.
26, right?
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, I saw that in one of your videos, and every 26-year-old living at home in their mom's
Yeah.
basement, right?
Yeah.
And man, those songs are incredible and just so relatable. Your new one there, I can't remember what lonely.
Yep. Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah, man. That's I have that
Yeah.
on my thing now, and my wife's like, man, why do you listen to songs like that? Like I've been married to my wife for 10 years.
Yeah.
I've been with her for 17, and liquor and pills and lonely, and she's like, you
Mhm.
can't even relate to that. What the fuck? And I'm like, no, but it's the guy behind the music I can
Yeah,
relate
dude.
to, and the songs are and the music is just it's good, right? I relate more to Rollin' Smoke and
Yeah.
stuff like that, right? Because I work on the road
Yeah.
and that shit hits home, right?
Yeah,
So,
for sure, man.
but yeah, like liquor and pills, man. It's just there was something about it that just drew me in.
Yeah, I think that was just the like really light bulb moment for me, was when I kind of put out that song and like I don't know. I mean, just kind of we're starting to write back towards that style of like, mental health and addiction and stuff like that. And I think it was just the rawness and like authenticity of that music that was drawing people in as well as like relatability to, anybody who's been through addiction or anything like that. So those songs are always going to be like probably my biggest songs, like even I remember I Pray, it wasn't about, I mean, it kind of was, but it wasn't really about doing drugs or anything like that. It was just, being depressed and shit like that, So just that rawness and authentic music is really what works best for me, especially that, like even with Rolling Smoke. Um, like that's just, I mean, I recorded those songs in my bedroom closet and they were like demos basically, you know what I mean? They're not super polished. They're not, I still wasn't recording the best vocally, you know what I mean? I didn't have the sound I have now. And it was still so, like I said, just raw and bare bones that I think people really, really related to it because that's what the road life is like, So,
Yep, it is. I remember hearing I remember hearing I think you did an explanation for Roll Smoke, and you wrote it because your buddy, you went to pick your buddy up,
yep.
and you're backing out of the driveway and he was kind of finding it hard to leave and his
Oh,
kids were at
dude.
the door screaming, right?
Hmm.
And so you're like, hey man, you want to go and eat supper with your family? We can leave after,
Yep.
right? And that was like, oh man,
Yeah.
I remember seeing that video and I was like, damn, that's everybody that works in the blue collar lifestyle that works away and in
Yeah.
the oil field, stuff like that. Um, there's a lot of people like me personally. I like to leave in the afternoon, right?
Hmm.
I like to get up there, 4, 5, 6, 7 hour drive. I like to get into camp
Yeah.
or
Get
wherever I'm
the,
going, hotel, whatever. I like to be there by dinner time, and I don't
yep.
like driving in the dark, right? So
Yep.
I like to leave decently early, but there's been times where it's like it'd be nice to have one more dinner at home.
Hmm.
And but that's harder on everyone as well, you know what I
Oh,
mean?
yeah.
Because the inevitable is still coming,
Yeah,
right?
dude. It was like we used to, and like that's a true story too. That's exactly why I started writing that song. Started writing it that night when we finally got back to Chicago, and I don't know, man. It was just like I think that everybody that has worked on the road has had that moment where they're backing out of the driveway, and if they have kids or who like whatever it is, your wife, your kids, whatever, they're just fucking staring, watching you leave, and that you just want to turn right back around. And I swear to God, I remember that like it was yesterday. I'll never forget that moment because he just started crying and he looked at me dead in the face and he was like, "Work on the road." They said it'd be worth it. They said. And then he just started bawling. So I just put the truck in park. And I was like, hey, let's just go back inside for a little bit and then we can take off later. So, but I mean, yeah, just like you said, it's hard because you want that extra 10 minutes or you want that extra 30 minutes or whatever. And then there's a lot of times too where like I'll talk to my buddies that do have kids that still work on the road, that they'll get home on Friday evening or something like that. And then Saturday they want to see their friends or, spend time with their kids, whatever it is, but they want to be doing something fun. And then they feel like that they just kind of had their priorities mixed up. And then when that time comes to leave, they're like, shit, man, I should have spent 10 more minutes with my kid, getting her ready for her school or whatever the fuck it was.
Yep. Yep.
Um, So it's just, I mean, we used to sometimes like leave at midnight just to get there at 7 in the morning. You know what I mean? Just to, if it was like a 7 hour drive or something like that, just so we could spend that just extra time, or so he could. I didn't ever have a family, but I could see how much it really
Oh
bothered
yeah.
him.
Well,
So,
I've been with my wife for, like I said, 17 years, and I've been in this lifestyle for 13 or so.
hmm
And before we even had kids, I was working away,
hmm
and it was even hard then. You know what I mean? Like just leaving her. But back then,
yeah,
she could come and visit me anytime she wanted to. She would,
right,
especially if I was in a hotel, she'd drive hours to spend time with me. Just bring me more food. You know what I mean? If
yeah,
I'm
dude,
staying away in a hotel, if I'm in camp, they supply the food. But um so, and then I felt, and I made a post on Facebook, and it popped up on my on this day recently. It was like, every time I leave, it gets harder and harder, and another piece of me dies, right?
yep,
And I didn't even have kids yet, and now I've got two little girls, right? So that
oh
part,
yeah,
that part in Rolling Smoke, it was like, nothing beats the smile on the face of your little girl when you come back through that door, right?
yep,
And
yep.
man, nothing beats that, right? And
Nah,
so,
man.
boom, that resonates. There's quite a few songs out there. I don't know if you know who Bryan Martin is, but he
Oh
makes
yeah,
some pretty good oil field music. So
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I need to get back on my oil field kick, to be honest. And honestly, I was thinking about this the other day, dude. Like, I haven't welded and probably, like, I don't think I put a bead in anything for 2 years now. So I was sitting there thinking, I was like, man, it'd be nice to just hit a shutdown for a week or something like that, just so I could, get back under the hood for 5 minutes or something. But and also just missing the road life too, because I remember when I was younger, when I first started on the road, it was cool. We would go out and have beers in the evenings or watch the sunset, or like go to a bar and have some drinks at some place we never been, meet new people, stuff like that, and it was fun. But those weekends are always coming around, where you're gonna miss people, especially like, dude, if you go to a job that's only working, 5 10s or 6 10s or something like that, and you have a day off, and you're sitting there, you're like, damn, dude, I ain't got shit to do today. You know what I
Yep.
mean? So,
Yep.
but sit there and miss your family. So for a lot of them guys, I could tell how much it just ate them up. And like a lot of my friends that I worked on the road with, they're not on the road anymore. They found jobs at home and stuff like that. So it
And that's
wouldn't be
a
the same.
that's a hard thing to do in
Oh
itself,
yeah,
right? Like,
yeah.
leaving is hard, but like leaving that
Oh, dude.
lifestyle, it's addicting.
Yeah, it's dude, and it pisses me off so much when I post videos like that, and people will get on the comments and be like, "Well, why don't you just find a different job? It's not worth missing out on your kids." Like, bro, do you think people are just fucking hiring thousands of welders in my fucking small ass hometown? It
Yep.
don't work that way. You know what I
Yep.
mean? And if they are, it's like $15 an hour. You know what I'm saying? Like when you're, and I'm sorry, but when you're used to, getting in debt and buying side by sides and shit like that for your family to have fun things to do when you actually are home, it's hard to go from making 3 grand a week or 2 grand a week or 1,500 a week to making 500 a week. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? You
Yep.
can't just fucking, you can't just sell your house real quick and be like, hey, by the way, we're downsizing because I'm fucking coming home. You
Yep.
can't look at your family and be like,
Well,
we're gonna
I've
sell all
tried.
this shit.
I've
Right.
tried I've tried to leave the lifestyle a couple times, and I come home, and the issue I have is that, I'm gone away and I'm forced to work every
Mm-hmm.
single day. To when I come home, the first nice day where it's beautiful and sunny, I'm calling in sick.
Yeah.
Right? I'm like, hey, I'm calling
Yeah.
sick because I have that opportunity, I have that choice.
Yep.
Right? And all of a sudden, my new paycheck that might be $1,000 in two
Yep.
weeks is now smaller.
Yeah.
Right? And it's like, oh shit. So, and the lifestyle, it sucks, yeah, but and here's another thing that people don't always understand either. I don't know how much time you guys get off when you guys have time off, but I go to work for 3 to 4 weeks at a time, and then I go
Mm-hmm.
home for 7 days.
Mm-hmm.
I have 7 straight days of uninterrupted with my kids,
Right.
right? Whereas, if you're working in town, right, you're slaving away, you get up before they're awake, you come home as they're just going to bed, or when they're already asleep. You
Yep.
don't see them, and you do that day in and day out and day in and day out, and then next thing you know, it's you got a day off, but they're playing with their friends. They're
Yeah.
sleeping over at their grandma's house or something, right? So I come home, and I have 7 straight days of
Right.
undivided attention to do whatever I want with them.
Yeah, dude. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. It's also that's what I mean too. Like when you get that job at home, like if you're a blue collar guy, I mean, 17, 18 bucks an hour, maybe even if it's 20, you're going to be working or trying to work 70, 80 hours a week just to get close to what you were making on the road. Cause I can tell you right
Yep,
now, once you get addicted to 2 grand or 2,500 or 3 grand a week, stuff like that, and you try to make the switch back down, you're going to find any way you can to just get back to where you were at because your spending
absolutely.
habits don't change. You know what I'm saying? That's where I'm always talking to young guys when you get on the road, save money. You know what I'm saying? Splurge a little bit here and there because, I mean, you earned it. You're a young kid. You're going to make dumbass, financial decisions or whatever. So go out and buy a truck or whatever the hell you want to do. But make sure you're saving a little bit so that way when you do have a chance to take 2 months off or whatever, you don't have to worry about bills or nothing like that. And you're going to be
Yep.
good for a little bit.
I think that's what I have this shirt hanging up here. I just got it from the guy who doesn't live too far from me, the Anti-Cubicle Crew. And it says boots over suits.
Yeah.
What's your priority? And I'm wearing the shirt here too, right? Like
Yeah, dude.
blue collar crew. Yeah, he doesn't live that. I think it's 2.5, 3 hours away from me. He works away too, right? Same thing. That's exactly what it is. What's your priority? Are you going to be? Do you want to make less money
Yeah.
and be home every night? We all want to be home. We all
Yeah.
do, right? But do you want to make less money, or do you want to get out there and grind for your family and sacrifice a little bit of today for a better tomorrow?
Yeah, exactly, man. That's what I'm saying. Like, and we act like it's just this like nobody can do it type of lifestyle. And I will say, not everybody can do the road life and shit like that. But I mean, it's not like that. It's not like we're going overseas to fight or anything like that. But
Yeah.
at the same time, it's months away. Or like when your 2-year-old gets sick and has RSV and she's in the hospital and you got to basically just sit there on your fucking hands because you can't get off work unless she's basically almost dying. You know what I'm
My
saying?
daughter last summer, she fell off a slide at the park, broke her arm in 3 spots: wrist, forearm, and elbow.
Hmm.
And I'm where was I? I was shit. I was probably like 8 hours away.
Yeah.
How am I supposed to get home? And hey, that's another thing. Shout out to those blue collar wives, man. They hold
Yeah,
down the
dude.
fort. They got to do everything.
Yeah, dude, that's what I'm saying. Like, and that, dude, I think a lot of people. I posted one video one time talking about how road wives basically turn into single moms when guys go on the road and shit like that. And dude, there were so many fucking women getting in the and I might offend some people saying this too, but there were so many women getting in the comment section saying shit like, um, don't compare them to single moms because they at least have the financial support and shit like that. And it's like, yeah, okay, I get that, but they're still fucking taking care of those fucking kids day in and day
Yep.
out with
Yep.
no help. And I
Yep.
mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, I mean, I guess they have their in-laws and grandmas or whatever to help out if they absolutely have to, but they're basically by themselves all day taking care of kids who are running around like they're chickens with their head cut off. You know what I mean? Getting sick, all kinds of shit. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like even women who because in today's world, you got to have 2 jobs basically in a household to survive. So
Yep.
when the mom is at work and shit like that, and the kid gets pulled out of daycare or whatever it is because she's sick or something, mom's got to call off work. Well, when she's called off work fucking 13 days and she gets fired, then she can't do nothing about it. She's like,
Yep.
well, there ain't nobody else to take care of my kid. So
Yep.
to me,
That's
that's a fucking single mom. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yep. And where we're at, we're in Alberta, and Alberta's full of transplants from all over the country, right?
Mhm.
A lot of people moving here with nobody else, just them and their husbands and their kids, right?
Right.
So not they don't even have the moms or the aunts
Yeah.
or the grandmas to take care of the kids, right?
Right.
And luckily for us, we're in a position where my wife doesn't work. I make enough for both of us, and we're good.
Uh-huh.
We're not the richest people in the world, but we're also not struggling, right?
Right.
So she gets to stay home with the kids. My kids, they've they've ever known is mom at home to take care of
Right.
them, right? So they go to school, and only one of them goes to school. The other one's 3, and the oldest one just started school this year. And yeah, so mom's always there, right?
Yeah.
Daycare's expensive, right?
Yeah.
And so it's been good. I'm thankful, I'm lucky, I'm blessed, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
it's been a lifesaver.
Yeah, for sure, man. And that's like to another point, just like I've seen so many guys that'll get a call from their wife or something like that, and just like you said, they'll be like, well, the 6-year-old has whatever sickness or whatever, and we're taking her to the ER, and they're yelling at the husband, and he's like, well, what do you want me to do about it? So he just starts getting frustrated because he knows he can't do anything. He wants to. It's not like he don't want to, but it just seems like everybody at the world is mad at him because he ain't there and he can't be there. You know what I mean? So he takes it out on them, and it's just a vicious kind of cycle. And I'm not saying that it's right or whatever. I'm just saying it happens.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And it's something that like individuals have to work through, and it's just another obstacle or whatever. But I don't know, dude. It's like I said, it's not for the faint of heart, and I'm not saying that it's
Not even a little.
Yeah, it's not. It's not. I'm not saying it takes like a special breed, but at the same time, I'm saying it takes a
Well, there is a
hardworking
saying.
motherfucker.
There is a saying. Some can, most can't.
Yeah,
Right. And it's not saying that they can't do the work. It's
yeah,
saying it's not the work they can't do, because we talk about this a lot. It's not this kind of toughness
yeah,
everyone thinks it is.
yeah.
It's this kind of toughness.
Yep.
Right. And it's braving the elements. It's missing your friends and family. It's the food. The food is not the greatest in camp or in a hotel. It's the lifestyle, the mental grind. Sometimes it hits you mentally, sometimes it hits you physically.
Yeah.
Sometimes it hits you both at the same time.
Yeah.
You better be ready for that.
That's what I'm saying, dude. And it's like, it's kind of like you said, you know what I mean? It's just at the same time, you'd be working 84-hour weeks or something out there, or 72-hour weeks, whatever it is. You don't get a day off. You don't even have laundry done because you've been working 2 weeks straight or whatever. And you just want 5 minutes or whatever, but you feel like you can't have it, and so you just feel mentally defeated and physically defeated at the same time. But I'll say this, like for welders, when you're new and stuff, welding's hard, and getting into, just feeling out how to make position welds and like how to really not look like a dumbass out there. It's difficult at first, but once you get the hang of it, welding's the easiest part of the job.
Yeah. You know what the hardest part of being a welder is? Finding enough tissues to dry the tears away.
Yeah. Exactly, bro. That's what I'm saying, man. It is though. It like the work is the easiest part. Once you get the hang of it, it's the same thing every day. You're welding on pipe, and that's it, or helping fit or whatever it is. But then when you get home and you're fighting that bottle or whatever, because guys have vices out there. I ain't gonna pretend like they don't. You know what I mean? I remember being on the road, and we'd go out, sometimes 5 nights a week. You know what I'm saying? Just trying to wash a buzz down or something, at least catch a buzz or something like that. And I've seen my friends, like even that guy I lived with, dude, I've seen him just like knocked out drunk, just blackout crying, because he just misses his family so much and he don't know what else to do besides drink sometimes, And so, and I've done that too, you know what I mean? Like, and I didn't even have a family. I just was missing home. Because, when you, especially living in a small town, you get to used to like being in a tight knit thing with your family and your friends and stuff like that. And then one day you're just out there in it. It's difficult. It's a difficult transition or whatever. So.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm not a drinker, and I think there's a reason why I don't entertain it, because my dad was an alcoholic, right? And he worked on the road. Right. So I don't want to jump into that. I want to break that right then and there. Right. So, I find TikTok is my vice, TikTok and Instagram and all that. I make content and joke around and about the struggles we've been through, about the things I've heard, the things I've said, the things I've seen. Right. So you were talking about the 70, 80 hours a week. Right.
Yeah.
The most I've ever worked in a week's 170. Right. There's no sleep, and there's only 168 hours in a week, but I average about 100-ish hours a week. Right. So, it's I'm not bragging about it. A lot of people, when I talk about it, make videos about it, they're like, look at this guy bragging about who's more tired. And I'm like, I'm not bragging about it. Yeah, I am tired. I'm just saying, hey, it happens. It's happened. And this is the struggle. This is what I go through. And there's so many people out there that have also done this and also gone through the struggle. If you don't like it, if you have never experienced that, move along. Go find content that you relate with. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. I think that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't think, especially with our younger generation, we're kind of like, yo, fuck all the hours. We don't want to work these. You know what I mean? Like, it ain't like we want to be out here doing this or whatever. And we're not not a lot of young guys are out there bragging about how much they work. I mean, some do, I guess, if you're really green or something like that, and you're just like, whatever, look at my paycheck, I guess. But
Yeah.
it's mostly just older guys, that are still working because they blew all their retirement or didn't save. You know what I'm saying? They'll be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna be doing this till I'm dead because all I do is work. It's like, yeah,
All
you
I
have to.
do,
Yeah.
85 hours a motherfucking day.
Yeah,
I'm
like,
on my goddamn job.
yeah, it's because
You
you
got
had
soft
to.
hands, brother.
Yeah, that's what they always say, bro. There's something like that, or you walking around a job site and some old dude will be calling you fingers for the next 6 months, and you'd be like, dude, what the fuck, man? Like, the only reason you're here is because you never heard of a Roth IRA. You know what I mean? But yeah.
Oh shit. I seen guitars on the back wall there.
Yeah, man.
What are those?
That one, let's see. This one is my Gretsch Rancher Falcon acoustic. That's the one I play almost every day. And then this is my electric guitar. It's also a Gretsch Electromatic. And I've been trying to really grind on that one. So
Yeah.
trying to get better at guitar.
Are you able to play something for us?
Shit. Fuck it.
You know the one line that got me, and I can't remember exactly how it goes, is but when what's his name was calling for a little bit of outlaw, I don't think this is what he meant.
Oh, you talking about Luke Combs?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't even remember the chorus of that song. It's like, yeah, that Can I Get in That Law song. I know which one you're talking about, but yeah.
Yeah.
But nah, man, I ain't even played it all today. But like, we're coming out with a bunch of new stuff that I'm excited for. I think one that I just wrote is like, it's kind of like a men's mental health thing.
Oh, perfect, because I think this episode goes up the first Tuesday in June, and it's Men's Mental Health Awareness Month. So,
oh hell yeah,
yeah.
Hell yeah. Let's see if I can remember how I wrote it. Yeah, I got it. Well, I've done things that I'm not proud of, but I don't think that I deserve to feel the way I'm feeling now. It's like I'm drowning and I can't get out. Yeah, something like that. But yeah, it's like those little lines, and then like if I can remember how I did the chorus. Hold on. When I'm awake, yeah, that's what it's. When I'm awake, my brain it breaks. Pray the Xanax will chase all my demons away. And when I'm asleep, anxiety breathes. Take another pull of that rye whiskey and rinse, repeat. Something like that.
Damn, that's not out yet, is it?
No, that'll probably be the next single we drop. Actually, I just got the full master back.
I can't wait for that one.
Yeah, it's to be honest with you, that's probably my favorite song I've ever written. And hold on. Anyways, what?
I can't wait to hear that one, man. Yeah. I talk a lot about men's mental health or mental health in general on this podcast, and I talk about it a lot. It means a lot to me. My dad, we don't get along, and mental health on his part is a lot to do with it. And I know our relationship has had my mental health strained a bit too. And because I work so many hours and stuff like that.
Dude.
At the beginning of the pandemic, I went to work and I didn't come home for 6 months, right? And I spent 20 days at home in 2 years. Right. And that really got me up here, right?
Yeah.
And I had 2 kids, right? Yeah, and a wife. And it was hard. It was very hard. And I found myself, in a deep, dark hole, and no one didn't think I had anyone to turn to, and that was hard. I discovered myself. I went through a lot of self-discovery, and there was a lot of shit I found while I was down there that I didn't like.
Yeah, dude, that's the silver lining to To be honest, some kind of addiction. You know what I'm saying? Like it, like whether you're not addicted to, you don't have to be addicted to narcotics or anything like that, but just being addicted to like the depressive lifestyle. To be real with you, like for me, it was when I was really into it. I was pretty heavy on Xanax and stuff like that, and painkillers and stuff like that. And I'll go into the story more in my TikToks and stuff when we get to releasing that song. But it was just like it was a men's mental health thing. Also, just being addicted to that, shut the fuck up, we can't talk about it type of thing. Because it's instilled in men, especially in, I feel like, you know, more popular countries, where men aren't really allowed to show emotion or have feelings or whatever, and if you do, you're just looking for somebody to feel sorry for you, especially in today's world, which bugs the ever living dog piss out of me. But that was kind of the gist of the song, and that's why I'm excited to put it out. You know what I mean? And it's not like I don't think women will relate to it either. I think they will. It's just that, for me at that point in my life, it's about a very personal experience, and that's what I was going through. And so, because at those points, like sometimes you don't want to wake up, but you ain't allowed to say that a lot.
Yeah,
So
you can't say that because now there's something wrong with you.
yeah,
Now you're an issue. Now
yeah,
you're like you're a bummer and you're bringing the whole thing down, right? You're
yeah.
bringing everyone else around you down when you say something like that. And it shouldn't be that way.
No, man, that's another thing too. Like I remember you used to go out with friend groups and shit like that, and you didn't want to say much, but at the same time, like you would crack jokes and shit like that about being depressed or unaliving yourself or something like that, and you're really just wanting somebody to fucking talk to or somebody to be like, "Hey, dude, are you okay?" But it's
Yep.
always like just brush it off with a laugh or somebody being like, "Yo, man, why you got to be a buzzkill?" or something like that, and then people just eventually stop asking you to go out, and it's like,
Yeah. Yep.
and dude, like everybody's like, "Why don't you just go to therapy or some shit like that?" Like, bro, where I'm from, you don't fucking go to therapy. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm not saying that we shouldn't. I think I think a lot of people should. You know
Yep.
what I'm saying? I just think that in small towns across advanced countries and stuff like that, you are told you don't fucking need a therapist. You need a bush light, or whatever it is. You just need to, get over it, basically. But you
Yep.
never say that to a woman. You know what I mean?
Never, ever. And I made a video last June during Men's Mental Health Awareness Month, and I was talking about what I just told you about my struggle. And a lot of the thing is be a man and suck it up.
Yeah.
But the manliest thing you can do is reach for
Oh
that
yeah.
hand is ask for a helping hand
Yeah.
or extend your hand or reach for that hand that's extended down to you, right?
Mhm.
That's the manliest thing you can do. That takes a lot of cojones.
Yeah.
That takes a lot of guts to be like, hey, I have an issue. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
That was big for me too. I was just about to say the best thing I ever did was finally tell my parents that I had a problem. You know.
Yep. Oh, you talked about that in one of your songs.
Yeah.
Yeah. I man, when I say like you're all over my playlist, man, you're all over my playlist.
Well, I appreciate it, man.
My wife's like, "Who are you interviewing tonight?" And I'm like, "Oh, Brian Andrews,
Yeah.
Liquor and Pills and Rolling Stone." She's like, "I don't remember that." I put on the song. She's like, "Oh yeah, this is all over the playlist.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I can't even put your playlist on without half his music
Oh
coming on."
yeah.
I'm like, "Yeah, because it's good music, and I relate to a lot of it." And like you
Yeah.
said, Liquor and Pills. I don't. I've never done drugs, and I don't drink. It's not necessarily the liquor and the pills that you're talking about.
Yeah.
You
No,
don't
dude.
have to be addicted to liquor and pills to be addicted to something that's
Mhm.
destroying you.
Oh yeah, dude. And it's like it's even just a lifestyle, man. People don't understand that. It's like I said earlier about being addicted to like just a depressive lifestyle, a depressive way of living your life, just always constantly thinking about bad things or whatever, and sometimes you just can't help it. But that's what I mean with like I'll never be the guy that writes the songs for the teenage girls, and selling out fucking arenas or amphitheaters with fucking 16-year-olds and suburban moms, single moms or whatever. But I'll sell out 350 cap rooms to guys who really need to hear it, and
Absolutely.
I'll be okay with that until the day I'm dead. So
So, do you go on? Have you been on tour?
I haven't. Nope. I think this point, we're kind of just waiting to see if we can get a hold of a booking agent, or some kind of booking company, to really handle that side of things. I do need to play more. That's one thing that I want to do in the coming year. 2024 is definitely get on the road. And even if we're playing these small venues, just get out and play some acoustic shows or something like that. Because dude, like, especially as an artist, like, that's the main thing. Like, you want to be able to see people physically relating to your music, so the online presence is great, but it's not, um, it doesn't feel like real life sometimes, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
And that's a aspect of the career that I really want to get, you know what I'm saying?
absolutely.
So,
So you said earlier, like you were able to, with the music, you were able to get off the road
yeah.
and stay home. Like, so do you have to work in town and do
Nope.
stuff, or does the music
Yep.
keeps you afloat? That's
Yep.
awesome, man.
Yeah, it's paying the bills right now. I signed a licensing agreement in or a licensing deal in uh, 2022, January of 2022, for some songs, and that was a good chunk, or whatever, to keep me going. And really, I quit before then, though. I mean, I was making just as much as I was making on the road, just off of streaming and stuff. As soon as I started putting out like Liquor and Pills and Home Wrecker, and then Rolling Smoke and I Pray. So
Good for you, man.
yeah,
So
it's crazy.
like at what point, you know, so how many downloads do you need on a song to start making money off it? I never even asked anybody that before, like,
Yeah.
but like, what at what point, how many downloads does it start paying off?
So for every million streams is what it's kind of the general rule. It's around $3,000. So every time you get a million, it's about 3 grand. It's sometimes give or take, especially with like iTunes and stuff like that. It'll be around, you could make, I mean, if you're pulling a million streams a month, you could be pulling 3,500, 4 grand a month off of that. And like, if you sold a little bit of merch or whatever, and then for me, brand deals on TikTok are a big thing. And, just whatever you can do to make money, which for me, when I first got off the road, I wasn't making much, and I wasn't making as much as I was making on the road, but I was making still as much as my parents were, at their teaching job and stuff like that. So it was a livable wage. Um, and that's kind of the thing with me, is like, I'm not in it for the money, but the goal of every musician should be to sustain a lifestyle that can supplement, your
Yeah.
life and stuff. It's where you can do music full time. So with everything I do, I try to be business first, except for when it comes to writing the songs and making the content, really.
I
Um,
I like how you make your content, man.
yeah,
I really enjoy that. The guy comes in, hey man, I need to get something
yeah,
off my chest, right? And then play that beat, and that's another part of the content aspect that drew me in, right? Because you're doing it that way, and it's like, okay, it takes a little bit to get to it, but there's a story there, right?
yeah,
And the story builds up to the song, and that the story sucks me in, and the song keeps
yeah,
me there.
yeah. That's what I've always said, to anybody who wants to be an artist or anything like that, or make content. The most important thing you can do is get people bought into you first. You know what I'm saying? And that's
Absolutely.
that's why I started making all the oil field skits and stuff like that, because I want people to buy into the brand. You know what I'm saying? Or like, buy into who I am as a person and what made me who I am and why I write the songs I write. And even like I love the story. Sometimes they don't get the best views, but it's not always about that. You know what I'm saying? Like,
It's not.
because sometimes when you get those viral moments or whatever, you
It's
can make
counterproductive.
yeah, like, you can make those fans for a month, maybe, but they're not like the diehards. The diehards are the ones that where you get 50,000 views on a video, or like 10,000 views on a video, where you get somebody who types in your comment section, this song saved my life, or some shit like that. You know what I mean? Those are the people who are going to support you and really be there for you when you have low times, because in music you will, what I'm saying? Shit'll slow down. That's what I made a video the other day talking about that. Just,
You did.
like, views sometimes aren't always there. Streams aren't always there. You know what I'm saying? It's just low points that you got to work through. And the most successful people obviously never quit. You know what I'm saying? That's one of the biggest things that you just have to keep in mind is you have to stay consistent and you just never have to give up. You know what I mean?
Yep. I'm coming off a 3 month run of having a really good 3 months where the views
Mhm,
were not always where I wanted them to be, or it doesn't really matter, right?
mhm.
But like I come off a really decent couple of months where I was hitting, right.
Oh
I
yeah.
was there, and sometimes you need that fall to be like, hey man, like
Oh
you
yeah.
know
Humble yourself. You know.
humble yourself.
Yeah.
Exactly. I like that video you put out the other day about that. And you know what? Honestly, 700 views. I haven't quite been that bad, but like,
Yeah.
I made a video that got 2 point. It's at 2.8 million right now. And it's still
Hmm.
growing, and it was relatable, right? And a
Right.
lot of people, it said, I don't know if you've seen it, but I put the crew truck in the ditch a lot,
Oh, yeah.
but so especially in the winter, and it said, hey, I don't know who needs to hear this, but it's not your fault you put the truck in
Mm.
that ditch, right? Maybe that ditch wasn't supposed to be there, yada yada
Yeah.
yada. And so many people were like, oh my god, I'm gonna this hits, I just did this, right? This hits. And so many other people were like, I don't think he's talking about a truck, and I don't think he's talking about a ditch.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, sure, why not,
Yeah,
right?
like it
Like,
goes such a different direction than you thought it would. Dude, that's
yeah,
another thing too, when I post those I used to do those storytelling videos on Roll and Smoke a lot because they work the best, and every time I posted one of those videos, there was always people in the comments that would take it a totally different direction, than I intended it to go, which is, whatever. But yeah, I think, like I said, that the content is all about staying consistent and just figuring out what works. Half the time, it's throwing shit at the wall and seeing what sticks. You know what I mean?
yep, yep. and
Um,
and man, the stupidest shit goes viral.
oh yeah,
You know what I mean? Like, there's content that I've put a lot of work in, a lot of hours just editing, trying to
mhm,
get right, trying to get the words to line up, trying to get, I thought of something different, like for a prop like that, putting,
yep,
hey, I don't know if you need to hear this, but you didn't put the truck in the ditch, yada yada yada.
yeah.
I, what a lot of people commented on was the fruit roll up that I was eating.
Oh yeah,
Right,
exactly,
while I
dude.
was doing it,
Yeah,
right? I wasn't gonna use that at first, right? I
yep,
went back to camp. I drove the 5 minutes back to camp. I grabbed a fruit roll up, and I'm like, "This will work. I like this, right? Give
yeah,
give something people like it gives people something else to focus on and talk
yeah,
about." So I
yep,
started eating it, and sure enough, there was hundreds of comments about the fruit roll up. People
yep.
that probably wouldn't have commented otherwise, you know.
Yeah, dude,
So
absolutely.
yeah,
And I
yeah,
also think another thing is like I heard this one time. I'll probably make a video on this because it's so true and it's so relatable. But and I used to think this way all the time. But like one of the keys to being successful at content creation or just really anything in life is just where you are an entertainer or whatever. Just be cringy a little bit. You know what I mean? Like add that little extra flair of like this is kind of stupid, but like you're doing it. It's cheesy or whatever. But
yep.
do it anyways. Be cringy. In your content because it'll work. You know what I'm saying? And like I don't know, man. One of the like most viral videos I have is me, just talking shit on like making a song homewrecker about this, being a dude's side chick or a girl's
I
side
love
chick
that
or
song.
whatever.
Love
Yeah.
that song, man.
So that's where I'm saying like just those little cringy comments or whatever, like acting like you're the shit when whatever. Be delusional. You know what I'm saying? Just be fucking delusional about it. Think you're a superstar. You know what I mean? And like have those moments where you get humbled and you get brought back down. You know what I'm saying? So you can level out and
Yeah.
kind of like understand that why you started doing this in the first place. But at the same time, like yeah, just be cringy, dude.
So
It
so
works.
my name is Dick for a reason, right? Like
Yeah.
Richard is
Hmm.
Richard Dick. But blue collar workers in the oil field, what do we joke around a lot about? Right? We're always talking
Yeah.
about our
Yeah.
dicks, right? So
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
that's why that was there. Plus, sometimes I can be a bit of a dick, right? So and that's all a joke. That's a facade, right? I mean,
Yep.
I play around with it a bit, but those big blue glasses I wear, I didn't like those glasses at first, right? I got
Yeah.
they sponsor me. I'm an affiliate, right? So a lot of people in the blue collar oil field world wear those glasses. Those aren't pit
Mhm.
vipers, but they wear pit vipers and heat waves and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I was never into that, but it fits the persona. It
Yep. Yep.
fits it, right? The mustache, the glasses, being a bit of a douche, right? So people in the videos, they come at me sometimes for that, But
Oh yeah.
that's what live streaming is for, right? The people
Right.
that want to really know you, right? I'm joking around about the industry, and you know the videos are to get laughs and likes and yada
Mhm.
yada. But going live is what helps your audience get to know you, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like this guy's not really like that. This guy's just playing it up, right?
Right.
And I had a guy who follows me. He was actually a guest on this podcast. We became pretty good friends in real life, and he was a guest on episode 13, and he said, when I first saw your videos, I hated you. You
Yeah.
know, I didn't like you. The big douchey glasses,
Mhm.
the things you joked around. I didn't get your humor. He's like, then I watched your lives. I
Yeah.
got to know you, and and now like you're those are two different people, right?
Yep.
And they are, right? And
Yep.
like you said, embellish a little bit, you
Yeah.
know, be cringy.
Yeah,
So
dude. That's what I'm saying. Like, dude, that's every time I make one of those when a welder walks into the studio videos and I'm wearing my welding hood or something, like you really think I want to wear my fucking hood walking around my house and shit in front of the camera? No, I feel like a douchebag, and all my buddies I used to work on the road with make fun of me for it. But it's just it works. So,
I forgot to say something. You know who Dax is, right?
mhm,
Dear Alcohol, stuff like that.
mhm.
Have you heard his new song? The
To
Weight
be
of
a
the
man.
World, Weight of the
Oh, okay.
World, or To Be a Man, To Be a
Yeah,
Man. That's the
yeah,
one. Yeah, it's the one.
yep,
What you said there about what the world, how the world views a man.
yeah, yeah,
That
yeah.
song right there.
Yeah, he nails it, man. I think he's a great songwriter, and I've always been a huge fan of him ever since the day I saw him on TikTok. And that's kind of why when I did my cover album, I did a cover of Dear Alcohol because I just related to the song so much. Um, and I thought it would sound great as like an acoustic style, country song or whatever. And I think it did. I think it turned out awesome. But yeah, he's just the way he can make shit so relatable to such a vast audience, just such a wide variety of people is incredible to me. So
Fun fact about Dax: he's Canadian.
yeah, he's from Canada. Canada. Yeah.
He's from Canada.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, he's Canadian. He's actually from Newfoundland, I think, the East Coast.
Oh,
I'm pretty
okay.
sure, and then but he lives in the U.S. now.
Yeah.
I keep trying to get him on the podcast. I go into his lives all the time, and I'm like, all right, now's a good time. There's a break in the comments.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
hardly anyone in here. I'll just drop it,
Yeah.
and nothing. And then I try to slide into his DMs, but you got to be friends with him, and it's like,
Yeah.
all right, I'll get him
Yeah.
one day. Don't worry
Yeah.
about it though. Hey,
Yeah.
Dax, if you're listening to this, bro, I'm gonna tag him in it. If you're listening to
Yeah.
this, I'm here.
Yeah, yeah, bro. Yeah, I'm sure he's a great guy, man. He's like I said, I think as a musician, it's easy to stay conditioned, listen to your own music, and not really find the new music anymore and stuff like that. But it's so important to do, and it's so important to really just jump genres. You know what I'm saying? And just
Absolutely.
listen to stuff that you're not used to listening to, so you can get an idea of I'll probably get a lot of heat for this, but I'm a huge MGK fan. Just I don't know why, but some of the lyrics he fucking puts out in the songs, I'm like, God damn, dude.
I'm a
And then,
huge Eminem fan.
yeah, see, well, yeah, me too. I like that's what I'm saying. Just when it comes to just different styles of music and stuff, and you can take things away from different styles and use them in your own genre. For me, like that's a big thing for me. I'm a huge like 2000s or 2000s rock or 2000s pop punk influenced artists, country artists. So,
Yep.
and I really like the raw Americana style, like Zach Bryan type music, but it's just never really been me. You know what I'm saying? It's not really been my sound. I'm not saying I don't like to do it because here and there, from time to time, I like putting out just straight work tapes. You know what I'm saying? Just straight acoustic guitar and vocal. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know what it is. I just love that heavy guitar vibe stuff, especially like Jelly Roll's new stuff. Oh my god, dude,
Oh,
I
I
can't get
love
enough
Jelly
of it.
Roll.
Yeah,
The
I
get
can't.
last week's episode. Last week's guest, Jelly Roll follows him.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. He or we follow each other on TikTok too. He came to one of my shows one time and was one of the coolest people I've ever met. But um, just like I don't know why, but the way he's able to just capture people in a song is insane to me, dude.
He is an amazing artist.
Oh my gosh, dude. And like just his newer shit, dude. Like Need a Favor is a great song.
I
That's
don't think I've heard that one yet.
Oh, you need to jam it out, dude. It's like probably one of my top 5 songs right now. At least.
Okay, I'll
Yeah.
give that a go. Need a favor.
Yep.
Okay, I'm gonna listen to that as soon as we're
Yeah.
done here. So
Oh, it's
that's
great. And
I'll remember that.
just did a song with Hollywood Undead too. I mean, he's killing it right now. So, and if
That's
there's
awesome.
like I said, anybody ever listening to this, if you ever think there's a more deserving person to be blown up like he is right now, you're wrong. He's the most deserving guy out there, dude. So,
I like his shit.
yeah.
He's definitely up there for me.
Oh yeah.
Definitely. So your I don't know, it's weird segue, but I was gonna ask you like home wrecker and was it homewrecker and liquor and pills, that's all based on a true story, right? You about a
Yeah.
girl you were with.
Yeah, Liquor and Pills is about yeah, I won't go too much into it, but yeah, it's about a girl that I was with when I was doing a lot of drugs and stuff like that. And kind of just how it ended and stuff like that. I mean, I was a real big piece of shit, but I'm not saying I couldn't help it because obviously you can lead. I could have helped it. I was the only one who could help myself, but or aside from my folks and stuff like that. But yeah, that was about that, and that's just that situation of how like you choose. It's hard to talk about. You choose alcohol and pills and stuff like that over everything, dude, and it just completely takes over your fucking life, man. And then on a lighter note, Homewrecker is just about a chick that was like, I started talking to this girl, and weirdly enough, we're still friends. But she was kind of like in between relationships with this other guy or whatever. And I didn't know that. And then by the time I found out that she was like kind of with him or whatever, I was like already invested. So I was like, fuck that dude. You know what I mean? I didn't know him. And, that's a touchy subject or whatever. Most guys want to say shit like, oh, yeah, well, if you knew that, you should have been the good guy and backed out or whatever and stuff like that. It's like, bro, fuck you. You wouldn't have done that
Easier
shit
to
anyway.
say.
Yeah.
Easier to say than
Yeah,
do.
dude. That's what I'm saying.
You're not thinking with the right head.
Yeah, yeah, exactly, bro. But no, it wasn't. And I mean, it was just it wasn't a good situation. But I mean, it is what it is. Stuff like that happens. But that song came, like I was thinking of, I said that line that day that I wrote it, just joking around. And I was like, man, I should fucking write a song about that or whatever. So then I came up with that whole hook because I don't even know that guy and I don't want to know his life, but whatever. And finished that whole thing out in like fucking 10 minutes. And I was like, yeah, definitely writing this song. So, but
awesome.
yeah. And then it just went, I had that one video that really kind of popped off because I was being loud and shit in the truck and stuff like that, jamming it out. And that's still one of my favorites that I've ever written just because it was so like, it was like my first heavier ish type of, rock country song or whatever. And I don't know. I just think a lot of people related to it. You know what I'm saying? Because
definitely
nobody wants to say they related to it, but everybody did. Because we've all been in that situation. I mean, we've all been in that situation where like maybe that girl's not like getting married to another dude or something, but she's like obviously fucking around with two dudes at once and it, and you obviously know you're the side dude or whatever, and you get tired of being the side dude at some point.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I was just gonna ask you like from asking about those songs and the relatability and the history behind them. I was just gonna kind of ask you about like the lowest part of your mental health, right, is obviously the liquor and pills. Right, so like how did you get out of it? What did you do to get out of that? And
honestly, that's what this newer song's really gonna be, really kind of tell the story. It was like I said, Liquor and Pills was about the situation and choosing the drugs, and then Rinse Repeat is kind of just the story of like how the drugs took over, and when I got out of it, it was like, I don't want to go into the story too much because, like I said, I'm going to be telling that story, I think, which is a fucking super vulnerable story for me to tell. But it's basically, it was just me having a rock bottom night, and I just finally reached out, and my mom found me on my stairs, on the house stairs going up to my bedroom, and it was like somebody had dropped me off from a party we were at, and my mom found me and took me to the emergency room, and that was the last day that I ever had Xanax or any kind of painkiller. So, and that was 3 years ago. Or
Come
no,
a
no, no,
long way.
shit, no. That's hell. That was fucking. I was 19 then, so hell, that was 7 years ago. God damn,
You've come a
we're
long way,
getting
man.
yeah, we're getting old, but yeah, it was just like that whole. I used to hate being that fucking guy that went through that and like having to look my buddies in the eye and shit like that, that I had been ignoring for so long, or like not being a good friend to because I was so fucking invested in uh, drinking and drugs and stuff like that. But I'm glad I went through it just so I can tell the story. I think that's the biggest thing that a musician can offer to the world is just that, you have a story to tell them. You have an obligation to tell your story so other people don't feel so alone. You know?
Absolutely. You have YouTube, you said, right?
Yep. Yep.
Do you make okay, do you make music videos for your
Yeah.
songs?
Yeah. Sometimes, like the ones I really like, we'll make music videos for. We just shot one for Lonely because I love that fucking song. And then we did one for Matthew 7:1 that we put out in January. And we're kind of just now getting started into doing them more often. It wasn't really in the budget, basically, early on and stuff like that. Or if it was, I would have done one for Liquor and Pills. But yeah, I think music videos are great. Like YouTube is awesome for that kind of longer form content,
Yeah.
And like I still haven't figured out shorts, but to be honest with you, it pisses me off so much because you can't post over a minute on shorts. You know what I'm saying? And most of my
Yeah.
videos are, like minute to a minute and a half or
Yep.
longer. So, and that's the same thing with reels. I wish you could post longer than 90 seconds on reels and stuff like that, but just so you could repurpose content, you know what I'm saying, and not have to make fucking 6 different videos for 6 different platforms.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, but yeah,
I didn't know you were on YouTube there. That's the only platform I think I don't follow you on.
yeah, yeah,
I'll definitely be sliding over there when we're done here and shooting you a subscribe on there and
yeah,
watching the
dude.
videos because man, it's cool to see music videos for songs. You know what I mean? Like
Oh
I
yeah,
grew up in the MTV era. You know what I mean? The
yeah,
MTV
yeah,
Much
dude.
Music.
Yeah,
So like the fact that music videos were a huge part of my childhood.
yep,
And
yeah.
yeah, so
That's like another thing too that I'm thankful for is that music videos have became so much more DIY than
look
they
at
used
Tom
to be.
McDonald.
Yeah, dude, that's what I'm saying. Like, I mean, the guy that I do my music video shoots with now, I met at Twin Peaks at a restaurant one time in the city. He noticed me and he came up to me and he was like, "Hey man, if you ever need a videographer, hit me up or whatever." So I hit him up one time and he came down to do um, the Matthew 7:1 video, and it was literally just him and me and a camera and my old square body, and we just made the whole video, dude. It was awesome.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's amazing. I like what Tom McDonald said. He's like $3,000 or something to make a music video. Maybe
yeah,
he went into Home Depot, bought a sheet of plywood, created a green
uh-huh.
screen, and went to town. Right. And look at I think it's his Dirty Money. I don't know if you heard
Yeah,
Dirty Money, his newest one. Man, that thing's all done on green screen, like most of his
yeah,
stuff, right? And
yeah.
and it's just in his backyard.
Yep. That's what I'm saying, man. It's so like I said, just so DIY now. And that's what I love about music now too, is that like anybody can make music. And yeah, that means a lot of shitty music is probably getting out there. But at the same time, dude, like guys who really have good things to say can get it heard,
Yep.
at
Yep.
least to some extent. I mean, I found some of my favorite artists on social media.
Same.
Um,
Well, I
yeah,
found you on TikTok. You know
yeah,
what I mean? I'm pumped that we're even having this conversation. I was
yeah,
stoked when you messaged me back. You know what I
yeah,
mean? And you
dude.
were like, "Yeah, man, let's do it." I was like,
Yep.
"Oh shit!"
I love
Like,
doing these, dude. This is like I don't know, especially with somebody else who works in the oil field. You know what I'm saying? Like
yeah,
I really appreciate that. But at the same time, it's like just getting on these small podcasts and getting to talk to people who like are just everyday people, you know what I'm saying, who
Yeah.
really go through this shit or whatever. It makes me feel like I'm not so far removed anymore, like I said, I was sitting the other day, I was like, man, I haven't welded in so long, I feel like it's not even a part of who I am anymore sometimes. But at the same time, like that's where I'm like, this blue collar vibe will always be a part of who I am and what makes me the artist I am. So I'm just super grateful for all the experiences I had out there.
Well, it's a brotherhood, you know what I mean? The
Oh
blue
yeah,
collar brotherhood. I don't know if you know who Ben Allen Curry is.
yeah, yeah,
He was on my podcast here a couple weeks ago.
yeah,
That episode isn't out yet. Next week, so
yeah,
he was on my podcast a couple weeks ago, and I talk to Ben quite often. We're not just he follows me back, I follow him. We talk quite a bit. I was there when I got glued into Birdie Ray when
oh yeah,
Birdie Ray was in the womb, and hey, Birdie Ray was going through her struggles there, and that sucked me in. What kept me was that he's also in the oil field. He's
yeah,
blue collar,
yeah,
and oil field money,
yeah,
7 days
yeah.
a week. I can
It's a
sleep when
great
I
song.
die.
Yep.
Absolutely,
Yeah,
man. And I'm happy to proud to call Ben my
yeah,
friend. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
man.
And we've never met, but it feels like we've known each other forever.
Yeah, dude, that's what I'm saying. And like, man, I've met so many great guys over social media and stuff like that. Just like, people like you and other artists that I'm just like really good friends with now, that I feel like I could call for almost anything if I ever had questions and stuff like that. And it's just it makes me feel like kind of like the blue collar vibe, because when you're out there on the road, you don't have your family there, so you guys are your family.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Everybody's your brother out there. So
Absolutely. And this goes to you here. If you ever find yourself struggling with your mental health, man, you message me. Hey, you want my phone number? I'll give you my phone number. You
yeah,
message
bro.
me, dude. You talk to me. I I don't necessarily need to talk back. If you just need someone to
Yeah,
listen,
man.
I'm your guy, right? I
Yeah.
love my ambition was to become a psychiatrist in middle
Oh yeah.
school. My probable doom was needing one. So
Yeah, yeah. Oh, that's fucking funny, dude. I never heard that. But yeah, man, that's the way it is. And like, thankfully I feel like when I first got the mix for that new song I just played back, I was like, damn, I got to pull over for a second. I was driving. I was on my way to the draft because was in Kansas City this year, and pulled over, and I was like, damn, just let me listen to this song, because it was a lifestyle that I like feel so far removed from, that I've moved on from so much, that I forgot how bad it was. And then listening to that song put me right back there. And like, even when I have bad days now, it hits when it's like a storm. You know what I'm saying? You just got to ride it out. But like, even listening to that song, it made me realize how bad, or how much better my bad days are now than they were then. And it
Hell
just,
yeah.
I don't know, it's crazy, man. Like, because dude, and I'm sure a lot of people felt that way, but there are just days where you just do not want to get up. You don't want to wake up. You wish you wouldn't wake up.
In that lifestyle, I mean, that lifestyle's taught me more than
Mm-hmm.
just, it's given me more than just money. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's taught me how to be a part of something bigger than myself. It's taught me how to keep going when I don't want to.
Mm-hmm.
It's taught me, the value of brotherhood. It's camaraderie. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
That is everything.
yeah, I'll always thank that period in my life for teaching me that, like, I still got to do the shit I don't want to do, even when I don't feel like doing it. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So, like, dude, honestly, I think that's one of the biggest differences in successful people and not successful people, is just showing up.
That's half the battle.
Yep, yep, it
It's half the
really is.
battle. We had this conversation at work. A month ago or so. With this new generation of worker coming up, a lot of them don't want to work.
Yeah.
A lot of them think they're better than the job,
Mm-hmm.
right? And why you hear that. But we had this conversation where you don't have to be the hardest worker to be one of the best. You know what I mean?
Right.
You have to be reliable.
Yep.
You show up every day. You give it your best you even if your 100% is not equivalent to someone else's 100%, you're giving it what you have.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And showing up and being there
Yep.
is the requirement. You know what I mean?
Yeah, dude.
And yeah, just being reliable.
I'd buy into that 100%. I had a weld boss one time on my first job, and I was really struggling, dude. I was like, because like at school, they're really good about teaching you how to pass a test, but not necessarily how to, make it work in the field and shit like that. So when you get out there and you're making these welds and you got a QC coming up and you got fucking, 6 repairs or whatever to make or something like that weld boss particular just doesn't like about your weld, and you're sitting there, you can't figure it out, you can't fucking figure it out, you're fighting it, and then you're at least just fucking telling or like talking to your boss about what to do, or like how to get better, how to do this the right way or something like that. And
Yep.
those were the guys he told me right then and there. He was like, I was like, man, sorry about holding you up so much today and stuff like that. He's like, dude, I ain't got no problem coming over here to work with guys who want to work. You know what I mean? That was the biggest thing for him. He was like, dude, somebody who's a great welder but don't want to work or don't want to show up or don't want to do anything like that. Like, I can't do nothing with those guys. But the
Yep.
guys who are maybe not so great but at least want to be here and get better every single day, those are the guys that end up being the best welders anyway.
Absolutely. They get there eventually. You know what I mean? Like it comes down to what the best piece of advice I ever received at work was. I was 19 and my boss called me up into his office and he's like, "Hey, where do you see yourself in 5 years?" And I'm like, "I don't know, but I hope there's a whole lot of money there." You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I just want money. And he's
Yeah.
like, "Man, the best piece of advice I can offer you is patience."
Yep.
You know, he's like, you show up, you do the job, the rest will take care of itself.
Yep.
The money will come.
Yep.
Right? He's like, I see that in you. He's like, I know you want the money. But he's like, I also see that you're willing to be there. You're willing to put the work in. He's like, just be patient, right? You know, he's like, I can't pay what you're worth, but he's like, I can help you get there.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, for sure, dude. That's what I'm saying. It's like, it's even even in working for yourself, like starting your own business and stuff like that or anything like that, there's going to be days where you just want to sit around all day. But if you just do the little things and show up and like do the little shit that you have to do, nobody's asking you to just go above and beyond every single day, every second of every day. You know what I mean? There's going to be days where you can just do what you can do, but those are the days that are the most important.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Those are the days that keep you from going 2 steps forward and 1 step back and just 3 steps forward every time. You know what I'm saying?
My brothers at work, they know the amount of oomph, the elbow grease I bring, the effort that I bring every day. They know that when I'm having a bit of a lazier day, and it took me a long time to get to this point because I didn't think I could be lazy. I didn't think that was ever an option. If I was having a lazy moment, I thought, oh shit, if someone sees this, I'm fired. Right? I'm done. But they can't just do that, right?
Yeah.
So I was literally working my fingers to the bone every single day, not knowing that, hey, that's gonna make you your body can't sustain that over the course of time.
Yeah.
Right? It's like, so my coworkers are pretty good at seeing, hey, when I'm gassed and I'm still showing up, I'm still going to show up, but maybe I'm going to take it a little easier today.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I need that. I'm 34. You know what I mean? Like, I need this to last at least another 30 years.
Yeah, dude.
So, I'm way too young to feel this damn old. So, so they know that when I'm taking her easy, it's okay, because when they need to take her easy, I pick up the slack for them.
Yeah, no shit, man. That's a big thing too. Is like, like you'll be okay. If you can just show up and do 50%, you'll be all right. Like you said, showing up is just 50% of the work, and it really is, dude. Just putting yourself in a position to be successful is half the battle.
Absolutely. Absolutely, buddy. Yeah. I just want to say, this podcast, brought to you by our sponsor. We're sponsored, buddy. We got that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Headset, microphone. Don't know how it sounds yet, but I mean, I listened back to the one episode that we did the other day and sounded incredible.
Yeah.
Hopefully it's again. This episode of the On the Throne podcast is brought to you by Mudman Market for all your drilling fluids and laboratory testing equipment needs.
Hell yeah.
www.mudmanmarket.com.
Shout out to Mudman Market.
Shout out to Mudman Market. Oh
Yeah.
my god, dude! It's so surreal, man. It's
Yeah,
so
man.
surreal. I've been talking to the Mudman for a little while. You know, he reached out to me last year, and he hooks me up with hats and shirts, and I give them out to everywhere I go, and stickers and whatnot. And you know, it was only a couple weeks ago where he reached back out to me, and we talked quite a bit. And he's like, "Hey, I want to sponsor your podcast."
Yeah.
And he's like, I don't know, I want to sponsor it full time permanently, but you want to do 5 episodes or whatnot for just to start? I'm like, baby, let's go permanent. You know what I mean? Let's do it. You know what?
Dude.
Like, I don't care. Let's go. And he's like, what do you need? And I'm like, well, right now, I was having audio issues in the beginning. A mic and a headset would be great.
Yeah.
And here we are.
Yeah,
here we are, man.
Here we are, man. That's
insane.
what I'm saying, though. It's great. It's I remember getting my first brand deal on TikTok, and I told my dad about it, and he was like, "What? Somebody wants to pay you to make a video?" And I was like, "Yeah, dude, it's crazy." And that was the cool part of realizing that there's so many ways to make money, nowadays.
There is.
That, like, you don't have to. I think almost the death of the career is coming with our generation and the generations after, because guys, especially like me, I'm this way too. We'll do something for a little bit and then get bored or tired of it, or it's not working, so we just pivot to something else where you're making decent money. You know what I'm saying? And you don't have to be, especially if you are able to make something or make money doing something you love. That's when the sky is the absolute limit, because if you love it enough, you'll find a way to make the most money out of it.
Amen. Amen. So I always find it weird talking to American creators, because we don't get paid in Canada for our content, right? We got to go live and battle, and that's how we make our money. But and sponsorships like brand deals, and I have my own merch line, so I make money that way. What kind of companies have sponsored you? Like, what's the biggest company you've worked with? What's the first one that what was the big break?
I think the first one I worked with was it wasn't really even a big thing. It was Pipeline sunglasses. They fit under your pancake hood. They're called Palm Waters. Yeah, a lot of Pipeline guys will know what I'm talking about. But they sent me a pair of sunglasses, and I thought that was the coolest shit ever. And it was just the sunglasses. They didn't pay me for nothing. And then the biggest one I did, I did one for Ridge Wallet, and that was one where I was like, holy shit, because they paid me like $700 and then gave me a free wallet or something for one video. Yeah, and I was like, holy shit, this is fucking crazy, you know what I mean? And then I did one for $1,000 for a Clover dating app. Yeah, it was like they were pushing this like live feature thing for I don't even know what it was, but I was like, yeah, dude, I can make this about like working on the road and shit like that, being lonely on the road. So I did that, and it actually did pretty good. I think that video got like 600,000 views, and they sent me a thing back, and they were like, dude, that's awesome. That's one of the biggest videos we've had out of any of the creators on this campaign. And I was like, well, that's good. Hit me up if you want to do another one.
That's incredible. Yeah. They ever hit you back or what?
Yeah, never really worked out. I didn't want to do like 5 videos for them or something like that. I didn't want to do like a whole package thing. I think for me, my big thing is like I like doing them here and there now. When I first started out, I wanted to do them all the time because I was like, fuck yeah, I'm making money doing this or whatever. And now I'm kind of like, well, I want to save like I don't want to fucking bore my audience to death with so much ads, because I feel like you get enough of that anyways. But yeah, I mean, like if there's an organic way to do it, like if it's a brand that I personally use or something like that, then fuck yeah, you know what I'm saying? I'll rep a brand, and I'm really not that expensive. I mean, all my hats that I get, I just get my hats for free. I don't take any money from the company or anything like that.
Same.
Yeah.
Right.
It's like,
This is the heat wave. Those glasses, right? I wanted
yeah.
a hat. I get glasses for right. They give me glasses, and I wanted a hat. And
Yeah.
yeah, same man. My first one was like I jumped. I was chomping at the bit, right? I was like,
Hmm.
hell yeah! But it didn't. It kind of fit my niche, but it didn't, right? And I just said yes. I would
Yeah.
have said yes to the first thing that came around. I was pumped. It ended up being some Javi coffee thing,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
and it was kind of cool. I got made me get creative with my videos.
Yeah.
The blue collar worker.
Hmm.
What's our best friend? And then it slid into my hand. It was like Javi, right?
Yeah.
For
Yeah.
that packs a punch,
Yeah.
right? Long days, early mornings, late nights.
Mhm.
And the views on the videos were. I made 2 videos. The views were really good,
Yeah.
but I only ever got 2 sales.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and
See,
you know
that's
what?
what I'm
That's
saying.
cool.
Yeah. It's hard. It's hard to push. Like, that's what I'm saying. Once people feel like they're watching an ad, then it's kind of like a switch in their brain just kind
Yeah.
of flips or whatever. So it's hard. That's why I haven't really dove into selling merch too much either, just because I'm kind of like, I until I like really need that revenue stream, I don't really want to push it that much. And I mean, for some people, merch is like a huge fucking income stream.
Yeah,
So,
oh, definitely, man. Like, I don't push it as much anymore as I did.
uh-huh,
But I wear it a lot in my
uh-huh,
videos, right? So people word of mouth, they just see it and that's it,
yeah,
right? Same with the glasses. I don't need to push the glasses. I just wear them. They're safety
yeah,
glasses. I wear them. People, I do fairly well off those. So, and then, I got monetized on Facebook a couple months back. So
yeah,
Facebook's paying me pretty decent money too, and like I mean, it's been pretty good.
yeah.
So they just recently took away the reels bonuses from everyone,
Oh
but it's
yeah,
the
I saw
ad
that.
the ads on the reels though
Yeah,
that are really popping off. So
yeah. Like I think I just joined that creativity program beta thing for TikTok, so I haven't really got a chance to see how much it's going to pay out. I just joined it like a week ago. So,
I don't
um,
think we got that in Canada yet, or might never will.
do you guys have the creator fund?
Nope.
Yeah. See, I don't know if you will either.
Yeah, we
That's
don't have the
so.
creators fund. It
That's
sucks.
crazy to me.
Yeah, it's some bullshit. I think it has a lot to do with our government and our tax system. So
Oh,
we get taxed to death in Canada.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Man, talk about taxes. Yeah, that'll get me
Hey,
fired up.
free healthcare though, am I right?
Yeah, 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 yeah. That's something that I probably wouldn't mind here.
It's free. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not really.
Oh, really?
I
Yeah,
don't have to
because of taxes. Yeah.
I don't have to pay 60 grand out of pocket to get my ring finger put on if I lose it. But my neighbor does, and it's not out of pocket. But my next door neighbor and my neighbors around me and my
Yeah.
fellow citizens,
Yeah.
they'll pay for my health care.
Yeah. All that taxes, man. All that taxes. But
Gotta love
yeah,
them.
that's kind of like the point, where I started being really like, okay, I can make this a living was when I started getting brand deals and stuff like that. You know what I mean? And then really when liquor and pills popped off, I was like, oh fuck, because I had that one video that got like 15 million views on that song or whatever. And it just
Yeah.
started fucking streaming, dude. And I was like, I remember watching it because it was still live on my Spotify for artists. And I was like, holy shit, this is crazy, dude. I thought I was big shit. It was my debut single. I was like, fuck yeah, I'm going to sign a record deal. I'm going to fucking live in a big ass house by the next week. You know what I'm saying? That fucking get the paparazzi out of my face and shit. You know what I'm saying? But it definitely doesn't work like that. And I'm honestly glad it didn't work out that way now, the way I think about it, because
You're still at a point where you respect the grind.
mm-hmm. Oh
Right?
yeah.
Had you popped off and gotten famous, right?
Yeah.
You'd be like, someone else can write my music for me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think there's some like just learning that humility right off the bat was super good for me. You know what I'm saying? And also the more I learned about the music industry, the more I was like, fuck, dude, some of these artists out here are broke.
Yeah, you know what I think really showed that was MTV's Cribs,
Yeah,
right? Like some of them had nice houses,
yeah,
but I think it was like Papa Roach or something like that. They They live modestly,
Yeah, dude,
right?
that's what I'm saying. It's like, dude, if I'm gonna fucking live like that, I'm gonna be by myself. You know what I'm saying? And, like, that's what I'm saying. Like, there's so many artists that get out because that's what we're told, you know, as musicians and shit like that. We don't know any better when we first start out. It's like, okay, blow up on the internet and then sign a record deal, and that's how it works. But in reality, you'd be so much better off if you blew up and then stayed blowing up and then gave yourself some leverage to take into those meetings with record labels and shit like that. Because man, I can tell you, they're like, and I don't think it's even like a like they mean to be, but at the same time, they're just like it's business, you know, whatever. Which is like fine, that's how they run their business model and stuff like that. But at the same time, it's like, dude, they are vultures, you know, when it comes to um, I guess not necessarily taking advantage of artists, but just taking advantage of situations. You know what I'm saying?
You've made that song too.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Fucking taking country back, dude. That's
Taking Country
yeah.
Back.
That
Yeah.
was fucking
That
and it was
was one of the first songs I added to my
yeah.
playlist.
Yeah. It was
Yeah.
fucking. It was kind of one of them deals. It was like I wrote that because it kind of turned into like these labels were fucking with me, and then all of a sudden it was like nah, they're gone. You know what I mean? And then you just start learning all these fucking stories and shit like that and hearing everything like of friends you make that are signed to record deals that aren't putting music out and that are dying to get out of it and shit like that. And it's like, damn, I'm glad I ain't in that situation.
I think Pink was the first to write a song about that. Don't Let Me Get Me.
Yeah, dude. And that's what dude, they're even some big artists are like dangerously close to not having a career because of labels. You know what I'm saying? Like artists you would never think of that are just massive, massive artists that are just not making very much money. You know what I mean? And so that's
Like
where,
who would you say like as a bigger artist would you put on that list?
oh fuck, I ain't gonna drop any fucking names because I don't want anybody fucking coming at me in the industry. And I'm not trying to because I don't want to talk about anybody else's money. You know what I mean? It's kind of like the
Yeah, no, that's
road
fair.
vibe or whatever. But
That's fair.
um, like personally shout out. But yeah, dude, there are plenty of artists that are fucking broke. And I mean, it's not just broke. I think in the country genre it's not as bad, but like in the hip hop world, that's where like kids really get taken advantage of because they blow up so fast. And then I mean, some of these hip hop labels out there are just fucking bad, dude. You know?
I think Ice Cube hit on that and Straight Outta Compton.
Yeah, and see, that's what I'm saying. Like you're talking about, like how NWA was huge then, and those guys were going on, you know, sold out world tours and making like 30K.
That's insane.
You know what
You
I'm
know,
saying?
when I think of the music industry back then, even or even you know, pre Napster, pre LimeWire and
Mhm.
Kazaa and stuff like that. When you think of it like then, like guys in the music industry, you know, I always pictured, hey, if I'm seeing you on posters and lunchboxes, T-shirts and shit like
Mhm.
that, and listening to you in my ears, you're killing it. You're rich,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
Like if I can hear you in my ears and I'm listening to you in my on my MP3 player, my Discman, right? And it's
Yeah.
and I'm
Yeah.
trying not to have it skip on me while walking to school.
Yeah. Yeah. The
Like you're
walking. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
you're killing it.
Yeah. No, man. It's like, it's also, dude, we always say this in the music industry. It's like, why do you think all these huge artists end up buying up a bunch of real estate or starting different companies and shit like that, or, you know, having restaurants or some shit like that in Nashville? It's because, like, sometimes, you know, artists will sign these deals and end up not making much money off of them. You know, they'll get that big upfront payday and then
That's it.
yeah, it's like, well, what else, you know? And like a lot of those bigger artists and stuff like that, yeah, sometimes it can work out for you. I'm not saying that record deals are all bad, and I'm not saying they're not the right fit for some people, but for a lot of people, for a lot of artists, record deals are not the way to go.
Do you ever get writer's block?
Oh yeah, all the time. I think, dude, I think that's well, yeah, I do. But the way I work through it is just to write like shitty stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like shit I
Yep.
know I'm never gonna cut or something like that. Is just to so I'm writing something or whatever. So that way I can just get in the muscle memory of writing or whatever. But at the same time, like I don't write like a whole lot of guys do. I mean, I'll do group rides sometimes, but not very often. I think I've only cut maybe 2 or 3 songs that I've written with other people lyrically. So, which it's not. I don't have anything against doing that because like I would love to get in some more writers' rooms and stuff like that. But like I live in Missouri, and a lot of my artist friends live in Nashville. You know what I mean? So it's kind of hard. Um, but also at the same time, like I do have something against fucking sitting in a room with 20 fucking people to write one song that sounds like shit, you know, that nobody can fucking relate to. It's just a fucking pop country banger. But
I kind of do the same thing with content, right? Sometimes I'm like right now, I'm not really having block, right? I'm enjoying days off, right?
yeah,
And when I'm at work, I'm constantly making content.
yeah,
And when I'm at home, I'm making content with my wife and my kids around, and they're in it. And right now, I'm just kind of enjoying not doing any of that. You know what I
yeah,
mean? And so the way through that, I know because I've taken a few days off, my views will suffer for it, but I don't care.
yeah.
I don't
No,
care.
dude, I think also sometimes for just not only the algorithm, but just you personally, taking breaks is good for content. Because I, like you said, I get content block all the time, bro.
Yeah,
Like, because it's a, it's just such a mentally draining thing to like think of creative ways to get views and shit like that, and then just have your self esteem blowed to the chest, you know, when you post it or whatever, and it doesn't
yeah.
do what you thought it would, which is just part of the game, but it still stings a little bit, you know what I mean? But no, I think, and that's another thing with like content or writing songs too is the same way. Like I really just do it when I'm inspired. You know what I'm saying? Like if I'm inspired to make content, like or like as soon as I get an idea, I'll write the idea title down or something like that, or give myself a time to think about it. You know how I want to go about it and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So that way, sometimes I can make 2 or 3 TikToks in a day, you know, and then have something to post.
Oh man, there are times where I'm on fire, and
Yeah, dude.
I put 3-4 pieces out a day,
Yeah,
and
dude.
I'm reeling them out,
Yeah,
and then I'll put out 1 or 2, right,
yeah.
and they'll do fairly well, like the 2.8 million and shit like that, and I'll be like, hey, I'm gonna let this one blow up for a day or so,
Mhm.
and then I'll step back, and then I'll fire more out, and
Yep.
then right now I'm lucky to put out one a day,
Yeah.
right, right.
Yeah, that's the same way I do it, dude. Like I'll take dude during deer season, I probably don't post more than like twice during rifle season. For like 14 days, I just won't post because I'm
Yeah,
hunting all day, every day. You know what I mean? And I don't. That's also sometimes a good thing too. It just gives me a fucking break from my phone. You know what I'm saying? Because we just live on our phones nowadays, and especially
absolutely.
working in social media and stuff. It's a fucking draining ass job mentally. So yeah, that's why I love hunting and fishing and shit because it just gives me fucking time away from it. That's why I always say that the day I have to move to Nashville is going to be a sad day because I don't know what I'd do without being able to just go up and go hunting whenever I want to or something like that. So
How far away is there hunting from Nashville? I mean, it can't be that bad. When I picture Nashville, I
nah,
picture country, right? And I picture
yeah,
like the woods can't be that far, right? Tennessee.
no, they're probably not. But I'm not really much of a public hunter because you got to share space with everybody. So
Yeah.
where I'm from, we have a bunch of ground that I can hunt on, my family farms and stuff like that, which is I'm very blessed to have and fortunate to have. So, and I don't have nobody that bothers me out there. I got my own space. You know what I mean? I can pack a lunch. I get out there at 6 in the morning and then come home at dark, at 7 in the evening. And just watch deer all day. I mean, just see everything. I mean, there's all kinds of shit you see out there, bobcats, everything. But yeah, I think those are like they're draining days because you don't have service out there or nothing, so you're kind of just like shit. I ain't got nothing to do but look at deer, and when deer ain't moving, it's slow. You know what I mean? But then you'll look up and you'll see a fucking nice buck walk out, or you'll see a couple does come out and just sit in front of you and eat for. Dude, I've got fucking videos on my phone of last year. I love those all day sits because you never know what's going to happen, dude. Any point of the day, something could come out, dude. And we get those pop up blinds, and I remember I still have the video of this fucking like spike. He was a spike or had a spike and then had a little split too on one side, and he probably walked within 5 feet of my blind.
Damn.
Yeah, I could see the breath off his nose. He would fucking snort like that, and I could see his teeth and shit. And I was like, damn, bro, I'd never been this. I thought I was going to have to wrestle him off my Rice Krispie treat for a second.
Have you ever considered coming to Canada for hunting or?
Oh, dude, I'd love to come up and do some kind of hunting up there. Like, I'd love to shoot a bear before I die.
So a lot of Americans come up here during the hunting season for our moose and our deer. We have some of the biggest white-tailed deer in the world just in Saskatchewan.
Yeah. And so, well, yeah, see, that's another thing. We've got in Missouri, Iowa, Nebraska, Illinois, and Kansas, we got some of the biggest whitetails, around, which is really nice. I mean, because it's crazy because some people, you'll see videos of guys hunting in like North Carolina or something like that, and they'll see a 120-inch deer and be like, dude, this is a big deer for down here. You know what I mean? But like 120-inch deer here, isn't really nothing to write home about. But at the same time, like, I'd love to shoot a moose too, because fuck me, dude. The first time I saw a moose, I shit a brick. I was like, oh my God, I didn't see one till I used to live in Idaho. So we were up in the mountains and shit kind of, but I was young enough that when we moved, I didn't really remember anything about it. But when I went to work in Wyoming, I saw a cow and I was like, oh my God, dude, that thing looks as big as a house. Like, I was like, oh my God, that thing is massive, bro. You don't understand how tall they are and just how long they are, dude. It's
yeah. Well, my wife got to experience that firsthand for the first time a couple of years ago. We've always talked about how she's never seen one before. And we were going on a trip to the mountains, the Rocky Mountains here in Canada, in Jasper, Alberta. And we were driving our Nissan Altima, not a very big car.
Mm-hmm.
And we were driving down a stretch of highway that's known for its moose, right? And so she's like, wouldn't it be crazy if we saw a moose? I'd love to see a moose for the first time. And she's driving, and it's just after dark, right? So all of a sudden, out of nowhere, she's like, what is that? What is that? And I'm like, that's a moose. And she was screamed the whole time because it got so close to the car. It either sneezed or pissed on our windshield.
Yeah, dude. Right? That's what I'm saying, bro. It's so crazy how big they are. And like, I've never been that close to one, so I'd shit a brick, being that close to one.
Oh, dude, I see moose all the time at work. It's incredible. You can get real close. No, I wouldn't get close to them, but you can get decently close without, spooking them in a vehicle. I would never get out, especially during rut, right? Like they kill you. I don't know if you know who Side Neck is here on TikTok. He's from Canada. His arm is limp and he sits like this and he's got a big bulge and he's paralyzed on one side of his body. He lives in Ontario.
Is it because of a moose?
What's that?
Is it because of a moose?
It's because of a moose. He hit a moose. God. He hit a moose in his car, and it came through the windshield and kicked him.
Holy fuck!
Yeah, it broke his neck, and there's nothing they can do for him. And he's been like, and the guy's got millions of followers on TikTok because, he's hilarious. Side Neck, check him out.
Yeah, dude. Oh my God, that's crazy, bro. But dude. Like, and I'd also love to shoot a mountain. You guys have mountain lions up there?
Oh yeah,
I want to shoot a mountain lion bad.
Mountain lions come down into the city once in a while, and here in Alberta, and once in a while you'll hear like a tale of one mauling someone or whatnot.
Oh my God!
Yeah, I watched two mountain lions fucking at the Calgary Zoo once.
Holy shit, bro! Yeah. See, that's what I'm saying. Like, we don't have them here in Missouri. Every once in a while you'll see them because they migrate sometimes, and mountain lions can just fucking travel for fucking,
and they see you before you see them.
Oh yeah, dude. And that's what I'm saying. Like, if we don't ever see them. So I'm so deathly afraid of them, bro, that like when I'm going hunting by myself and shit, I'll carry a knife in my hand just so that way if one just happens to be walking around or something like that. Because like there was a guy last year that was like 30 miles away from where we live. And he fucking had a trail cam posted up right on his deer path or whatever that they walk in to where they sit. And 30 minutes after he left, he got a picture of a mountain lion. And it was like, dude, if that was me, I'd never go hunting there again.
Wow.
Like ever. But they don't, that's the thing. Like they never stay in the same spot really. It's just crazy that like you see one that close because we don't have them. You know what I'm saying? Like, and they're getting sightings more and more. So I don't know if they're like just migrating here or whatever and getting away from cities in the west. But like elk, we just started introducing elk into Missouri, and we have like a lottery system for hunting now.
The ghost of the forest.
Yeah, and because they used to be native to like the plains and shit, and I guess when settlers came or pushed further this way, they just pushed them all the way to the west and to the mountains and stuff like that. But yeah, I'd love shooting elk too. I'd love to go on a like week long Colorado hunt.
We have a lot of buffalo, like bison,
Mm.
up in the Northwest Territories here. And there's an Elk Island National Park here, just outside of Edmonton. And most of the world's buffalo that are left are here. They come from Montana. They were killed off by the government. Back in the 20s and 30s or whatever to try to snuff out the First Nations populations. And they had a bunch here in Elk Island National Park in Edmonton, just outside of Edmonton there. And recently they sent a whole bunch back to Montana to repopulate.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. I've never, like I was going to say, we have a lot of bison here, but we don't have actual buffalo.
Yeah, in the Northwest Territories, when I was up there, you're not allowed to hunt in the park.
Yeah.
And that's where all the buffalo live, right? Yeah. So there's a bridge that signals the end of the park, and the buffalo hang out on one side of the bridge, and hunters are on the other side of the bridge, just waiting, right?
Oh, and shit, the buffalo, so you can kill them?
Yeah, and the buffalo never come out of the park. They always sit at that bridge and go the other way. It's like they know. They know.
Dude, that's crazy, man. It's so wild to me that some animals are that smart because, like, dude, just seeing some of these deer down here and how used to humans they get, bro. Oh, my God. I've seen deer get ran over by shredders. I mean, cornheads, everything. They're just dumb. I mean, big bucks, they're not really all that stupid, but and it's hard to see them sometimes. But I mean, just your run of the mill does, fuck, they're dumber now. They'll get 10 feet away from you, and you can fucking holler at them, and they won't move because they're so curious. You know,
you go into some of the mountain towns here in Alberta, like Banff and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You can get pretty close to the deer. You can pretty much pet them.
Yeah.
I wouldn't, a fed animal.
Yeah.
They say a fed animal is a dead animal. So,
Yeah.
like the bears and stuff like that, I wouldn't fuck with the bears. I saw my first bear of the season there 2 weeks ago. They're awake and they're ready.
Yeah, dude, that's crazy to me. I would shoot a brick or like wolves, bro. Oh my God, I would have a heart attack if I heard a whole pack of wolves while I was hunting or something.
So crazy story. I was working up in northern Alberta in Fort McMurray 10 years ago, and I was just started my night shift. And out on the tailings pond, I heard what sounded like a dog fight and a large yelp, and then and that was it. It stopped. And there was a wolf there. And a few months later, I was walking into a building to fuel some stuff up at night, and it's fresh snow. Right on my way back out, there are huge paw prints. And when we got in the truck, we backed out, and in front of us was a big timber wolf. Also here in Alberta, in certain parts of the north, we have some of the largest super packs.
Oh, dude, that's what I'm saying. I'd have an absolute stroke if I heard a wolf while I was hunting, dude. That's why I always tell Dad, like we don't really have nothing down here to be afraid of or whatever. But like I said, the occasional mountain lion or whatever, he's always like, "Oh, dude, you're scared of the dark." I'm like, I ain't scared of the dark. I'm afraid of what's in the dark.
Yeah, man. I'm still running up the stairs trying to before the light goes out completely. I'm still trying to get up the stairs.
Yeah.
I don't know what's in the dark. Right?
Yeah, dude, that's what I'm saying. And like, I don't know. It's so crazy because like where we hunt and stuff, you got to walk through cow pastures and stuff like that. So in the middle of the night, you're walking 10 foot from a fucking 2,000-pound heifer or whatever, and it never bothers you. But then as soon as you hear a whole pack of coyotes, you're like, we can get out of here.
Yep. Yep.
And a coyote won't do nothing to you neither. It's just weird to hear them howling at night when you've been sitting out there all day.
Oh, I've come across a couple coyotes there outside of camp. There's
Yeah.
food all around, right? So you come
Uh-huh.
out in the winter in the morning, so it's dark, and this what looks like a dog is passing in front of you, and it's just like, what the hell, right? And
Yeah.
so I get real scared, but I'm like, oh, it's just a coyote, right?
Yeah.
So like they ain't gonna do nothing. So
Yeah, see, if I was up where y'all are, see, like when I see something like that, I'm like, oh, whatever, it's just a coyote. But then when I'm like, if I was up there, I'd be like, well, is that a wolf? Like what the fuck, bro?
yeah, the last time I shot a gun, I scoped myself and broke my nose. So
Oh shit.
yeah, good times, good times. Thanks, Dave.
Yeah, what are the gun laws like up there for like hunting and stuff?
I'm not a big hunter, so I don't know,
Yeah,
but I know pretty much it's almost illegal just to say the word gun.
yeah, that's crazy, dude.
Yeah, I know a lot of hunting rifles, especially recently they're trying to put more and more bans on guns. I know the government is so out of touch here. They
Yeah.
recently put on their last year, the year before that, they've come out with a list of rifles that were banned. They ended up banning a coffee company.
Are you shitting me?
Black Rifle Coffee Company, something like that. Yeah, something like that, man. It was
Oh
crazy.
my
Like,
fucking god.
oh, dude, it's insane. It's insane. Yeah, I don't know. You say the word gun, and it's like, whoa, whoa, whoa.
Oh my
Don't.
god, dude. But that's what I'm saying. It's crazy. And I think I don't know, I'm not gonna get political on here, but it's nuts to me. If I didn't have my hunting stuff, I'd freak out, dude.
Yeah, a lot of people are a little worried about what's happening, right? Because we have a very socialist government, and so with socialism, you voted in and you got to shoot your way out.
Yeah.
So and they're banning guns for a reason, left, right, and center, right? So
Uh-huh.
it's I don't know, it's tough. It's a tough situation. i don't
Yeah.
i don't know anything about it, so I don't want to speak too much on it, but
Yeah. Yeah. For
it
sure.
is what it is. Hey, where can everyone find you on on social media in general before we go
Yeah.
too much further? Because you don't ever know who's hung on this long and who hasn't, right? So
Yeah. So every social media platform I have is at Bryan Andrews Music, except for like Twitter is like at Bryan Andrews 53 underscore or something like that. I don't know, something weird like that. I don't really get on Twitter that much, but
I don't
uh,
follow you there either.
yeah, everything else is at Bryan Andrews Music, and like I said, mostly just on TikTok and Reels and YouTube, for music videos and stuff like that. But yeah, I'm pretty easy to find on YouTube just because all the videos and stuff.
Oh, I'll definitely, like I said, when we're done here, I'm going to subscribe ASAP.
Yeah, man.
I've got just about 600 subscribers on there now.
Hey, there
I'm
you go.
clipping along pretty decent. What are you at on YouTube?
I think like 41,000. So
41K.
yeah.
Nice. I heard once you reach 1,000, you kind of open the door for monetization.
Yep, that's it. That's the milestone. Once you get to 1,000, you get that AdSense, and then you start making money on it, bro.
Nice.
So,
I don't know if I have the qualifications for monetization. You need a certain amount of watch time and views or whatever.
oh,
So
do you? Hell, I don't even remember that. But I will say, once you start doing it, like, dude, I was making when I only had like 10,000 subscribers or something like that. I was only on YouTube, so I was posting a lot to YouTube and stuff like that. And then when I started getting popular on TikTok, it started rolling over into my YouTube views and stuff like that. And I was
yeah,
making, you can make decent money doing it. I mean, posting a video a week that gets like 15, 20,000 views or something like that, you're making, $1,500, $2,000 a month.
damn.
Yeah.
Damn. Yeah, no, I post mainly just shorts on there,
Yeah.
but I use the video. I was gonna start my own podcast YouTube page,
Uh-huh.
but I figured, you know what, like this is my whole my the podcast is a part of my whole brand, right?
Right.
So I post the podcast on my Dick Frost YouTube page in
Yeah.
hopes that when I do get there, the longer form content is the podcast.
Yeah,
So
absolutely, absolutely, dude. That'd be definitely the way to go, and like that's what I also love about YouTube too. You can make all kinds of different content. You don't have to be so niche specific, stuff like that. And really, I never really treated TikTok that way either. You know, I just posted shit about what I wanted to post about, and it ended up working out pretty good for me. So,
Yes,
but
sir.
there definitely is a pro tip for any TikToker out there. When you find something that works, do it again.
Yep,
You know what I mean?
absolutely. You remember that trend that was going around with the
Yeah,
world's smallest violin?
yeah,
Well, I went after Gen Z pretty hard in my first one, and it got almost 1 million views.
yeah,
So I went after them again and
yep,
again. I did that trend like 4 times,
yeah, dude,
and each one got like a couple 100,000
yeah,
views, right? So I was like, all right, but Gen Z has the power to take away your whole livelihood or your whole
yeah,
life on here. So I poked the bear and then I left it alone,
yeah.
right?
I think that's kind of like the. I will say I don't know. I'm not saying that it feels like like a fear type thing, but like for me at least, I don't give a fuck, dude. If you want to try to cancel me, you know what I mean. I'm not going to change. I feel like I don't warrant anything to get canceled for, anyways. And half the shit that people are getting canceled for is fucking downright
Oh
nonsense.
yeah.
So that's
My
another
thing. Sorry, go ahead.
that's another thing I love about just being independent. You know what I mean? I ain't got a fucking answer to nobody. Ain't no label telling me what to post and what not to post.
Amen to that.
So
For me, it's at the point now, and I've said this to I don't know, you probably don't know who Uncle Hack is. He's an Alberta legend. So for me, I said to him because he got canceled pretty hard over some things that he said,
mhm.
and you know, for him and for anyone else, once you have enough of a following and a fan base, if you want to call it that, once you have that fan base established, if you get canceled, you just start another account. Your people will find you.
Oh yeah, I mean it's like yeah, I mean that's what I'm saying. Like if it comes to the powers that be or whatever, where you get like banned from TikTok or something straight up like that, dude, it's cool. Just start another account or whatever. But like
Yep,
that's what I'm saying. If it's just like just the culture and you're not actually banned on anything, it's just a bunch of people talking shit, then fucking who cares? Let them talk. You know.
absolutely, absolutely. Hey, I usually wrap the podcast up with a question that I think is pretty good, and a lot of people it stumps a lot of people. So I don't know. Have you listened to the podcast at all? Have you listened to the
Uh,
episodes? No. Oh, this is
I'll
good
have
then.
to. I'll have to.
This is good then. I've had some pretty good guests on. I'm blown away by the amount of people that have been
Yeah,
like,
man.
"Hey, absolutely." But so Mount Rushmore has four of the most influential people, depending where you stand in American history on it. Um, everyone has at least that many people that have influenced them. Who would be on your Mount Rushmore and why?
My dad, first of all, just because I mean that's where I learned my work ethic and just watching him through the years. Just be there for everything. The hard times, the good times, and growing up and seeing getting mature in my age and stuff like that, and then really realizing the struggles that he went through when we were kids and even now. So yeah, definitely my dad. And then shit, probably my shit, dude. I don't know. I would say like probably my high school football coach is on there just because that was kind of like where I learned the never give up mentality, you know. And I was so into that then, and it carried over so much now. Just he was good. He was a great teacher, leader of men. Um, Shout out to Coach Huff. But anyways, shit, two and or three and four. I'm trying to think of like maybe people who influenced my. I would probably put Luke Combs up there. I was a giant Luke Combs fan when I first started writing because, like, honest to God, I would write songs that sound just like a Luke Combs song when I first started out because I would just want to learn how to write or like the structure of writing and what makes a song sound good and stuff like that. So I was pretty
Shout
much
out to Luke Combs. Hurricane
yeah.
is one of my favorite songs of all
Oh,
time.
dude. Yeah, dude. I remember when that song came out, I was like, man, this is crazy, dude. This is one of the best songs I've ever heard. And then, he just, dude, that first album he came out with, fuck, I can't even remember what. what it is now, but what the fucking title of it is. But um, yeah, with like Houston, we got a problem. Moon over Mexico. Fucking, even though I'm leaving, that was a great song too. That might have been on the "What You See Is What You Get" album, but yeah, it was just I don't know. I was just such a big Luke Combs fan, and I still to this day I don't think Luke Combs can write a bad song. So um, huge into Luke Combs, and then probably just motivationally. Well, shit, dude, I don't even know. I don't even like. I would say probably music wise, keeping on that same trend. I would say probably like any any 2000s rock band or pop punk band. You can take your pick, but probably someone like Mayday Parade. I was pretty big into Mayday Parade in high school too, and I don't know why they were just one of my favorite bands. I loved their sound that they went for, especially on the um, fucking Romantics album they came out with. Can't remember the name of it either, but yeah, it was a great album, and my mom would have to get an honorable mention on there too.
Honorable mentions to
Yeah,
mom. You know,
yeah,
hey, shout out to mom. Without her, you wouldn't be
yeah,
here,
yeah.
right?
That ain't no shit. She probably should be higher on that list, but
Hey, you know, you got a pretty good list there, and you know, honestly, where you're at and where you've gone in your career, I don't think she would be too upset, right? You
yeah.
know, did you get your musical talent from her or your dad?
Yeah, so they're both music teachers at the high school I went to high school at. So my mom actually just went to a different school, but she was my choir director in high school, and my dad was my band director. So
Wow.
yeah, it was crazy, man. And I actually, when I went to college, that's what I went to school for. I was a music major there. I was a huge into band and stuff like that, and I went there on a scholarship and just, obviously got wrapped up into some bad shit and ended up dropping out. But
You were forced to behave in high school.
yeah,
Yeah,
well,
you were
kind
forced.
of.
You couldn't get away with shit.
I would say that was my brother. He was the older child, so he didn't really get away with a lot. But like, I was the like sneak out type of kid, the kid that didn't really tell my folks what was going on. And all my buddies were just like the rowdy crowd, in school because in a small town, fuck, there ain't nothing to do but drink and stuff like that. So we would go out and party and stuff like that all the time, and my folks were just kind of cool with it because they had already been through it with Blake or my older brother Blake, and they were like, whatever, he's the he'll either survive or he won't, type of thing.
What do your parents and I guess your family think about the music path you've taken?
Yeah, so I think both my folks at first were like, and I think this is like this for anyone chasing this dream, and you can't hold it against them, but they're just so like, you should have a plan B or like, what are you doing with your life type of thing. And you just kind of have to listen to that and let it go in one ear and out the other. And like I said, you can't hold it against them because your parents just want you to be safe. You know what I'm saying? Your parents don't want you to take the risk. They want you to just be mildly successful and have a decent life. But if you got bigger dreams than that, don't be scared to chase them, and live with that, and just let them kind of bite into it, because when you start making it and shit like that, they'll just be like, oh my god. Every time somebody recognizes me with my dad, he shits his pants. He's like, oh my god, I can't believe that they know who you are. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, I did a showcase last year in Columbia, Missouri at Rose Music Hall, and we sold the show out, and there was a bunch of people there beforehand, a whole line and stuff like that. And my mom and dad helped me run my merch table. And before the show, I was standing out there and I tried to meet as many people as I could and sign autographs and shit like that. And my dad was like, I just can't believe this. He just couldn't. He was so mind blown that that I was doing that.
Hell yeah.
It was one of the coolest things ever. So, and
Now you gotta retire them.
yeah, that's the plan. That's the plan. I'm trying to. My dad's got 3 years left, and my mom's got 4. So I'm hoping I can get some real good money going on before they so I can at least buy them out of a year or something like that.
Do what Two Turn Tony did for his dad.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Something like that.
maybe not. Maybe don't use your dick to do it. But I
Yeah,
mean, you know.
yeah. No, dude, I think it's great. I think it's great, man. There ain't no shame in making money, brother. I don't
No,
care how
hell
you
no,
do it. I don't care
hell
how you
no.
do it.
That's the whole thing with OnlyFans nowadays, right? Like a lot
Mhm.
of people look down on that, man. But you
Mm.
know what? Our society is set up to be so damn expensive.
Yeah, bro.
You can't start chopping people down or criticizing people on how they're choosing to survive.
Yeah, no, absolutely not, dude. And I think it's great if some like women and men can get on OnlyFans and make 7 figures doing it. Absolutely, dude.
We
More
actually
more
had an
power to you.
OnlyFans. We had a top 1%er on OnlyFans on the podcast way
Did you
back
really?
in the beginning. Yeah,
Hell yeah, dude. That's what's up, man.
hell
That's what I'm
yeah.
saying. Like I ain't got no quarrels with that, man. It's hard enough, and I ain't here to judge nobody. And plus, like, dude, there ain't nothing to judge anyways. You know what I mean? That's a
Live
service.
and let live.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's a service people have paid for. If you don't like it, don't subscribe. That's the shit that cracks me up though about it.
Amen.
It's like the guys who always have a problem with it are the ones who are cheating on their old ladies watching it and shit. Yeah,
Oh,
dude, I guarantee it.
oh,
I'm done,
shit.
done. But yeah, nah, it is what it is. Like I said, I ain't throwing no shame at any way somebody makes money.
Absolutely, buddy. Hey, man, this has been a lot of fun, bud. And
Yeah,
I, I I say the same thing all the time about like how I'm a little nervous going into recording
yeah,
because like it's my baby, right? And I
yeah,
just want it to be so damn good. And I never do my homework on the person, but I know a lot about
yeah,
you, anyways. But I never do my homework on the person because I like to learn and be just as
yeah,
surprised as I am as the people that are going to be listening. And so it's always fun. And I get kind of nervous on podcast release day too, right? Like I'm
yeah,
like, oh, there's 8 hours until release time.
yeah,
Oh, there's 3 hours.
yeah.
Oh, half hour, right? And it comes out like I had one drop today, and the whole day is just like, all right,
Yeah, anxiety.
it's my
Yeah,
baby. I want it to do good. I
yeah,
want it to, and it's doing great. It's doing fantastic. But like each one, I'm honing in on my craft. You know
oh
what I
yeah,
mean? I'm
absolutely.
getting better at it with each one we go, and with the new headset and the mic and stuff like that.
Yeah, man.
I'm excited for how it looks and sounds now,
Oh
right?
yeah,
So where it's kind of like you with your music, you know what I mean? You probably had to hone in on that, and you
yeah.
probably had to work at it. It wasn't always great, I'm sure, but dude,
Oh
look at you now, man. Like
yeah,
you
man.
said, Luke Combs can't write a bad song. I don't think Brian Andrews can write a bad
Hey,
song.
I appreciate that, brother. That's what I'm
Absolutely,
saying.
buddy.
That's what I'm saying. It's always a constant work in progress, man. You always got to be moving somewhere. You ain't going nowhere.
Amen to that.
Yeah,
Amen. Well, this has been fun, buddy.
yeah, for sure, dude. This has probably been one
Thanks
of
for
my
coming
favorite
on.
podcasts. Yeah, this
Oh,
yeah, it's been awesome.
my heart.
Yeah, dude.
Are you single?
Yeah. Hell yeah, brother. But no, for real, this has been one of my favorite ones to do.
Oh, I appreciate that, man.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
No problem.
Well, thanks for coming on, and hey, Brian, you stay frosty, brother.
Hey, you too, brother.
All right, buddy.
Yeah.